Hello everybody. We are here right on time. Well, I'm the Husifer, and if you want to support anything I do, go to the Moobot. Freaking support me on Ko-fi. Support me with gift subs and bits and stuff. Whatever you need, whatever you can. It is by no means a indicator of whether or not you are a member of this community, but instead, it's just appreciated. Oh, hi. Oh. Yeah, no, not dealing with those orcs. Nope. I am currently in Ashenvale. I'm grinding for reputation, and I'm broke because I just got a mount. I'm so broke. I've not been this broke in so many levels. I have 11 silver to my name. I can get it very quickly, though, so don't think that's like me being like, oh, guys, please save me. It's just funny. It's just very funny. And so far, like, the Ashenvale, like, PvP event, the Battle for Ashenvale, haha, it's so-so. It's so-so. I feel like they can do things to make this a lot better. Also, say hi, everybody in VC.
Hello.
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 General Kenobi. And as y'all can see, I'm playing a warlock tank. I'm a big, strong boy. Oh, it's a trainee's sentinel nightsaber that you can only use in Ashenvale, and you get it from the PvP event. Actually, speaking of which. I'm gonna try to turn off me being PvP. At least so I don't get ganked before the actual, like, event happens, right?
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah. Sharp Talon. Oh, that's a hippogriff. A dead hippogriff. Because I'm deep in the,
The sauce.
yeah, the horde sauce, if you will.
That sounds horrid.
Oh, we have a voice redeem from Top Hat.
Ooh.
Top Hat, what would you like me to say in Hugh's voice? Aha. Yes, fighting slime. Which, unlike in most RPGs, they are pretty dangerous in this game, yes.
It is not your starting mob.
It is not your starting mob. Correct. This isn't your mother's RPG.
I mean, that is true. I'm not your mother.
Ooh, I think this rusty chest is what I'm looking for this quest. Yep. Alright, what do I gotta do with this iron pommel? Oh, I need to bring it back to her. Neat. Cool.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Top Hat Luigi
yeah.
just did the...
Yeah, I just saw this. Just as you were about to bring it up, I literally just turned my eyes over and saw it. Hold my Eldritch beer and watch this. Observe, you fools. Leroy Jenkins.
Oh my god, he just ran in.
Oh my god, he just ran in.
Jesus, stick to the plan, stick to the plan!
Tale as old as time.
Song as old as rhyme.
Beauty and the
Beauty
Beast.
and the... Yes.
Yeah. A great start to the stream, I think. Friggin'.
I think so too.
Also, just to let everybody know, I did post a video that I now have pinned on my TikTok channel. Also on my Instagram, if you didn't know I was on Instagram. of me promoting that I stream here on Twitch and YouTube. By the way, hi YouTube peeps. So like if you see those videos, please be sure to share them, repost them, comment, like all of the interactions so it gets out. Because traditionally, videos that say, hey, I'm streaming on a platform that's not where I'm posting, doesn't go over well with analytics because, you know, pearl clutching, telling people you exist on other platforms that isn't ours. Well, you know, I probably would on TikTok if they paid me anything.
Well, that too.
It's almost like financial incentive incentivizes the interaction.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? So yeah, if you haven't seen the video or hasn't shown up on your For You page or anything like that, feel free to go there now and interact. It'll do good for the Linux. Oh yeah, it's so much easier to like traverse this zone with a mount. What you have to do is you have to do the Ashenvale PvP or the Warsong Gulch instance until you get friendly with Silverwing Sentinels, and then it's 10 gold to buy, which in Classic that's a hefty price, but it's worth it.
It is a big chunk,
but it is worth it. Also, my overlay is blocking it up a bit. But the battle, like the way the Battle for Ashenvale thing happens is by killing enemy creatures or players. Each faction has that percentage thing increase, and what is it? That percentage, and once both are at 100 for Alliance and Horde. What is it? Then the battle begins, and you have to slay the 3 enemy lieutenants before you can attack the general. Right now, there's a little bit of cheesing when it comes to it, where has become more of a battle of who can, like, it's a race. And you don't even see PvP, like, there's no PvP happening between the Horde and Alliance during the battle for Ashenvale. Kind of defeats the purpose, from my opinion, but that's also just, like, I like PvP in a PvP event, you know? But it's a quick way to grind reputation. Like, it's very quick now. And there's some good items. Like I just got this trinket, and at level 25, trinkets are not common, like at all. So it provides a much needed boost for me. My trinket gives me stamina, which as a warlock, tank or otherwise, is good. And it decreases the magical resistances of my spell targets by 10, which, not 10%, just 10, which is good. It's good shit. Good soup.
Soup.
Indeed. And as you can tell, I go into demon form. Looking strong. Haha, fuck you. Fuck you, bear! Hey, bear. Did you not just see what I did to your pal, friend? I'm not your
friend, pal.
Not your buddy, guy.
I'm not your guy, friend.
Memes as old as time itself. So people like to optimize. Yeah. The way that the reason why it's turned into more of a race than an actual PvP event is because people are still gonna optimize, and doing it the way it is with the way the event is the most optimal way of doing it, of just avoiding the actual PvP part altogether and racing to each lieutenant.
Is there trouble?
It's lackluster, honestly. But It gets me the gear I need, and I'm trying to get as geared up as possible, like for when I take the Dark Carnival into the Black Fathom Deeps raid. It must be baby, darling. I adore you, but how dare? How very dare?
Make him suffer, Andy.
I trust this is sufficient embarrassment.
How dare? I trusted you. No, I didn't. Not with that. Check my Steam when I have a chance? Yeah, absolutely. All the suffering. Get y'all a partner who makes you suffer with puns.
Heck.
And this is your casual lore reminder that Hugh canonically enjoys puns, even if there is a homebrew rule that puns deal psychic damage. He is immune. That had actually come up when he was a player character. That was a thing. Let the puns flow. What version? What version of what? Lulu Agul. Lulu Al.
I'm guessing they mean WoW.
Season of Discovery. Classic. It is a kind of server.
Oh, when you get a chance, can you double check what kind of leather you need for the silk bags?
Heavy leather.
It is heavy leather. Leather, okay.
Correct. Oh, there's a hidden shrine I need to look for. Huh. I will find it. Aha, I found it. Haha. You fool. And now I have a wand that can turn me into a furbolg for some reason.
I mean, I didn't take you for being much of a furry, but...
Transforms me into a furbolg for 3 minutes and has a 1 minute cooldown. I think it's repeatable too. Pretty sure that's one of those like fun cosmetic item kind of deals. Which I loved about vanilla and classic. Mm-hmm. Like, friggin' just some items, like, it's not for the, for increasing what you do as your class. It's just like, oh, here's a fun little trinket that does a funny little thing. Mm-hmm. Like with the non-combat pets, which are adorable.
Mm-hmm. Or the fish that I fished out of one of the rivers, which was a 17-inch trout, which was an offhanded weapon that does no damage.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Oh, yeah, I remember that shit. Oh, such fun.
I bet you someone eventually found a way to make it do damage.
No, it's one of those things that, no, it doesn't. There's I got a flower bouquet from a quest that also it's not that it doesn't deal damage. It's not an offhanded weapon. Like you just hold it in your offhand. Like when we say it deals no damage, it like really genuinely like will not deal damage no matter what.
It does not have a stat on it.
It does not have stats on it. It's purely for cosmetic purposes. Oh hey, thanks for the sub, Terrid. Friggin' like what is it? And Caliban, I think it might have been you or someone else who was like friggin' oh yeah, it was very crowded, Lulu, and it's gotten better. It's not fixed. You're still gonna be competing for for quest mobs, but it's a lot better than it was. But yeah, that being said, back to what I was saying, that like the end game for some people is just getting cosmetic items, or because there's no transmog in classic WoW, right?
Right, that wasn't a thing until I think Cataclysm.
Right, but people they still collect certain items to look fancy out of combat, like, you know, especially in the RP servers.
Correct.
Which, depending, been thinking about RP servers a little bit, because I feel like a lot of our community would greatly enjoy that aspect of this game. Speaking of aspects of this game, I'm gonna go fishing. For no other reason than it gets my skill up and we're waiting for the horde to catch up.
Question.
Answer.
Slightly off topic, but still relative to the game. Do we have a guild crest?
No, we do not yet. Because it's 10 gold to make a guild crest.
Right.
And I haven't had, like, there have been points, like, I think the highest amount of gold I had at any one time was like 30. But
yeah,
I had to spend all of it for, like, components and shit to send, because I can make silk bags, the 10 slot ones. And I'm not even selling them on the auction house. I'm just sending them to the other Darklings. Because having more inventory really helps with the leveling process. And making more money per trip as well for them. I already have 10 bags in every bag slot, so I'm not worried about that.
If we wanted to, like, donate money for the guild, like any more guild stuff, like making a guild crest or for providing guild tabards or some such, is there a place we can donate some of our money for the guild?
Currently, because it's classic WoW, the only way we could do that is by sending it directly to me, and then I just make sure that it goes into the right channels.
We can't trust that guy. What are you thinking?
But yeah, because what is it? It's because there's no like guild bank or anything like that. Otherwise, totally fucking would. At least I don't think there's a guild bank in Classic.
No, there's no guild banks in Classic. What you could do is create a bank alt.
I do have a alt who is level 1. It's Eldritch for the Eldritch author. He's a mage. For when I want to become a mage healer, which is a thing in Season of Discovery, which is fucking great. Apparently, they're really good at it too. They don't have a res thing though, which kind of puts them behind priests and shit.
Sure.
But still good for for what they do. I think it's AoE heals they really excel at. Essentially, it's they use time magic to reverse wounds. That's the logic, and I just think that's so fucking cool. But yeah, that's going to be one of the things that we're going to work toward is saving up gold. Even, like, I can easily save up enough very quickly if I just do quests, because at level 25, when you do quests, it gives you a shitload more money because it's not giving you experience anymore. Eventually, though, quests are going to run out. But I can very quickly save up money for a guild crest. So I wouldn't even worry so much about that as getting leveled up, sending what you can, and then I use any, like, if you give me money to, like, for the guild, I'll be spending that money for the components of making silk bags or the best in slot cloth items for our casters. Oh, have a good night, Top Hat Luigi. Because that's another,
Yeah, good night.
as a tailor, like, that's what I do. Also, I have pretty much most of the enchantments, so I can also enchant things for our guildies. And I've been saving up on enchanting materials so that we don't have to worry about spending money on the auction house for them.
Okay.
They're all just currently sitting in my bank, waiting for me to enchant y'all gear when you have the best item for that slot. Currently, I can enchant boots, chests, shields, one-handed weapons, two-handed weapons, and bracers.
Nice.
Oh, and cloaks. That's going to be very important in the Black Fathom Deeps raid. I can enchant cloaks for 10 shadow resistance.
Ooh, that sounds really good.
That's a lot of shadow resistance, especially if y'all already have items that increase shadow resistance. And it's super pertinent for, like, I think half the bosses in that raid. The first one deals just a lot of frost damage, so we're also looking out for frost resistance just for that boss. It's a water elemental.
Sounds like
Makes
it's
sense.
watered down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And then the second boss is a giant fuck-off turtle. I've also been, like, researching their strategies.
Sounds like a shell of a good time.
Hell yeah.
Flash, you make my head hurt. And I'm
Good.
happy for it.
As you do.
Yes, IRL psychic damage.
Mm-hmm. Oh, looks like the battle for Ashmondale is going to start soon. Gonna get a few more, fishing in. Because fishing is one of the professions I did not actively level up. I'm maxed out in tailoring. I'm maxed out in enchanting. Maxed out in cooking. Almost maxed out in first aid. So fishing is the only thing left over. I'm so looking forward to taking y'all through Black Fathom Depths. And until
It's gonna be
then,
fun.
getting the best in slot items for everybody will involve I run y'all through dungeons and shit.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Hell yeah.
Classic dungeons are gonna be fucking litty.
Mm-hmm. And I am, like, a veteran of vanilla slash classic. Specifically of, vanilla. So, like, going back into those dungeons, it was like riding a bike for me.
Nice. There we go. My brain's been stopping a lot recently. Like, get halfway through a thought and it just gets distracted and derailed. Then I'm like, what am I doing?
It's even worse when you're trying to, like, perform a task at work and you start getting distracted and you feel like your body's in, like, autopilot and then you snap back to reality. It's like, what the fuck am I doing?
How did I get here? This was unsafe. What did I do?
Oh. Holy bait. Dude tipped me 50 silver.
Oh, hell yeah.
For summoning him.
Aw.
Let's go.
Is he in a guild?
What? Probably.
Is he in a guild?
Probably. Oh, looks like it's about to start. Let's go. There's so fucking many.
God, yeah, I imagine this is what a war host looks like.
Yeah, actually. Not even an exaggeration. Oh. Oh, by the way, all of those green beams, those are all fucking warlocks.
Green beans.
Okay, so here's what I've been doing. He's at like 50%, right? I'm running. Because you just need to hit them once. And you will get credit when you kill them. I mean, when they die. As long as I'm still in the same zone. And then I go to the next, run to the next guy. Make sure to tag him. Then I run to the next guy. Make sure I tag him. And then once all the lieutenants are down, go to the general and tag him. And the reason why I'm doing it that way is because it will make sure I get all of the rep without missing any. Because there's a bunch of sweaty gamers in it, who show up in Ashenvale who don't wait for other people to get the tag. Unfortunate, but true. And by doing it this way, I'm making sure that I get all the rep I need, while also not contributing to the sweaty assholes. Out of context, that's fucking hilarious. Yep, definitely like a war host. Oh, fucking that spider. Fuck you, spider. Poisoning me and shit. Yeah, see, if I didn't run ahead, you see that line of people behind me? I would not have been able to get any credit for the kills if I don't run ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunate, and this is also why I say, I listen, baby, I am the sussest straight boy you will ever meet. By the way, their words, not mine. This is why I'm saying that, like, Battle for Ashenvale doesn't feel like a PvP event. Like, it feels like a going through the motions, like, do it when it happens kind of deal. Which doesn't feel great if you're looking for an actual PvP event, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so it's like retail.
Yeah.
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 Oh. Yeah.
Wouldn't know. Don't play retail.
Yep, and now that I tagged that boss, I'm running to the third one, because the third one is even further away. Do y'all see now why I feel like this is lackluster, even though it's... But I do it because it's necessary. Like, see how there are so many people already running from that boss? Yeah.
I do not delight in your suffering, but it is necessary.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Bear, fuck off. Your mother had it in with Goldilocks.
Oh.
Your porridge was
Not
too
eating our
cold,
porridge.
like your sex life.
Ooh.
Where's the vine boom? Oh shit.
Goldilocks found your bed just right.
Mm-hmm. And you know why. Yeah. Like, it doesn't feel great. It's going like, this really does feel like it's going through the motions. And if you're meeting too much resistance against an enemy faction, people just hop into a layer where the faction balance is skewed in the other direction. See, I am leagues away from that guy and I got rep. But if they didn't do it like this, actually, like, this was a problem before, where, like, the rep wasn't being given out, so they were like, okay, as long as you hit the enemy, you'll get rep. This is the preferred, this is like getting rep just from tagging them or like getting a hit on them. One offensive ability, that's it. Freaking is the better of the evil, is the lesser of the evils when it comes to like how, but compared to how they had it before. Because before, like, I would run through the Battle for Ashen Vale and get no rep, even though I was actively participating against the lieutenants and shit. So they have a lot of work to do, but at the very least, the classic Season of Discovery dev team are doing a phenomenal job of keeping up with player demand, not demand so much, but player feedback, and really addressing issues as they come up. Because they are trying something new with Season of Discovery. There's a lot of new shit. So of course it's not going to be perfectly balanced or figured out right away. And it's not like other companies or even other parts of Blizzard where they'll take months to fix a problem. This game has been out for a little over a week, and the number of hotfixes to address player concerns have been chef's fucking kiss. I hate Blizzard. I will go to bat for this specific dev team, though. Like the people working on Season of Discovery.
And isn't it like 5 people
It's like
or something
5
like
people.
really small?
There's let me correct that. It's 5 people, like it's about 5 people like running it / in charge of it and shit, right? Who are making the changes necessary.
Speaking of small dev teams who knocked it out of the park, Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. QQ, GG Novri, fuck off to everybody who's like, Baldur's Gate who? It's like, shut your pedantic ass up. I'm about to say I didn't even know Spider-Man 2 was a thing.
I had forgotten about it.
Like, now that like people are QQing about it, I'm just sitting here like, oh yeah, that was a thing. But have you looked at the Baldur's Gate numbers? Like, because there were people who were unironically, like, I saw them freaking, some TikToks about it of people unironically being like, oh, fucking what? Who even plays Baldur's Gate? Oh, homie, don't call yourself out like that. Don't do that to yourself. Every video I've seen that happen in, their comments outnumber their likes. And all of the comments are calling them the fuck out.
Shooting themselves so far in the foot.
It's like, dude, don't shoot yourself in the foot because you're salty. You don't want that for yourself.
It's got some great parody content, though.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh, absolutely.
But, I mean, there's a reason Baldur's Gate swept through the awards.
Yeah. Like, hey, like, oh yeah, like, on that note, AAA gaming companies, if, I don't care if you ever see this or not, but on the extreme off chance, the not 0% chance that you do, be afraid. Cower. Suffer. Reap your sins for giving us mediocre, half-finished, bullshit, disappointing barely loved pet projects. Listen to your communities. Listen to your cash cows. Hi, cash cows. And maybe you won't drown. Look at Blizzard. Look at Activision. Now they're subservient to almighty Microsoft. Do you want to be consumed by Microsoft? Do you want to be swallowed into their vacuous monopoly? No? That instead of being fucking shitlords and complaining that Baldur's Gate and Larian Studios are the exception, not the rule, we shouldn't expect this. No, we expect. Deliver or perish. Provide or disappear.
Excellent.
That is all. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Just had to have the TED Talk.
I hope they have an existential crisis.
I mean, when Baldur's Gate 3 came out and they looked at it, they had an existential crisis. Mm-hmm. Where they were like, oh my god, I hope this doesn't do well. If people start expecting this, we can't deliver. It's like, no, you can deliver, you just don't want to.
Yeah. It costs you too much money. But you know what makes, like, because really it is a matter of, like, short-term gains. Like, that's what they care about. Because that's what their investors care about. When are we making our money back? Cries the investors. Right? But if you wait and put in the effort for long-term, for a happy community, I can promise you will, like, even on a financial level, they will make so much more by focusing on the long term. I'm just saying.
You're not wrong. Well, and here's the other thing was, so Azaraki, my partner, gets gifted shares to his company, and we have to deal with the whole selling the shares thing and everything. But a lot of times when they're like, where's my money? I need to make it back. It's like, no, that's not how it actually works. Like, you are taking part in legal gambling, where you are betting that this company is going to do more than what you put into it originally. At the bare minimum, if you are using, in my brain, like, I'm not a financial person, I'm not financial minded, like, whatever, but my brain says, that's not real money, you have an NFT, you probably should switch it out for something that is a bit more solid. But people hold on to them as if they're cash and then throw a fit to, like, that was my savings. I'm like, no, that was an NFT.
Yeah. It's like, cry about it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to try investing in the stock market, you can. But do it with money that would otherwise you would literally take to a casino to gamble with.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Like, if AAA companies...
$50 at most. No, I'm joking.
So if AAA companies cared more about their audience, the people buying their products, than they did the investors who are giving them money to make the products, though even those investors would probably see a lot of more long-term gains, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the marshmallow dilemma all the fuck over again. You can have you can have this marshmallow now, or you can fucking wait and have two. That is preschool. That is preschool logic right there.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they don't want to do that. It's also why I'm super into Ashes of Creation. Because, and listen, if you got me on this tangent, I would never shut the fuck up, and I'm playing World of Warcraft. But long story short, like, yeah, they've been in alpha access for over 2 years now, and it's going to end up, and when it does get released, it's going to end up shaking up it's essentially the Baldur's Gate of MMORPGs. I'll put it out there right now. And to all the people who are like, oh, you know, it's not going to be out until we're like 50 years old. It's like, we said the same thing about Baldur's Gate, but they were in early access, open to the public, like letting people know the progress as it went the whole time for years. And then when the final product finally released, look what the fuck happened. Win, Gamer Award. Like, what? Like, did y'all see how many awards Baldur's Gate got?
Including Game of the Year?
Oh,
yeah.
And, like, that's with keeping in mind that Ashes of Creation is doing the same fucking thing, but as an MMO. And people are getting, like, you know, really fucking impatient and shit. That's okay. Be impatient. But just know that this is yet another small team who were crowdfunded, by the way, to make this game. And what they have in alpha is better than what I've seen in retail of most MMORPGs. And they are actively sharing changes and improvements and additions as they happen and taking player feedback and incorporating it. I will wait 5 more years for my perfect MMO because I want 2 fucking marshmallows.
I think what needs to happen for stuff like Call of Duty and that is stop releasing the game every fucking year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's part of the I want the marshmallow now bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you.
So another big thing is that whenever these games come out they're really hyped, and this is just part of my personality and how I am, but I always look at, like, when even if they're showing you a lot of it and they're telling you about how all these things are going to do, I'm like, yeah, but is this going to be either a Star Citizen or a Fable?
I can see that. No, I can see the concern there. Because there are plenty of other examples of where these small indie companies or small dev teams do underdeliver, right?
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of examples.
They get a bunch of hype on it, they make a ton of money, and then they drop as little as they can.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope that's not the case, and I really want to see Larian Studios set a bar that gets followed.
Absolutely.
Fingers crossed.
And I can tell you right now, based on what I have learned of Ashes of Creation and what I've seen, because they regularly stream, their devs regularly stream, showing off everything they're up to in game.
Well, and that level of transparency bodes really well for it not being Star Citizen / Fable.
Yeah.
And that's also why, like, if you guys know it, the game Warframe.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah.
They are very open about what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. RuneScape.
And it's also free to play.
Oh, yeah. And RuneScape. Look at the RuneScape devs.
Yeah.
They actively have their player community vote on changes and additions. If they vote no, that's a no. If it's a yes, that's a yes. They will make it happen. Oh, yeah. Hydrate and dihydrate. Thank you, baby.
Yes. I will as soon as I can, for I have a cat that must be held like a baby, and I have no hands.
Mm-hmm. Also,
they are demanding little
if
beasties.
y'all love MMORPGs and you love fantasy and immersion and shit in your MMORPGs, look up, read about, and watch videos on Ashes of Creation. You will see what I mean and why there's so much hype. And the only people who are saying like, "Oh, this is just copium. This is like, oh, like we're holding our breath for nothing," are just the impatient mind rots. At least the ones who are like who make it their whole personality anyway.
Yeah.
Because I get it. Shit like that can be frustrating. But let's find out together.
Yeah. Just because you have a fear of disappointment doesn't mean that you should inflict that on other people, even if you think you're doing them a favor.
Yep.
It's a hard lesson to learn. No. Okay.
Any sort of negative comments or reviews on anything from video games to movies or TV shows should always, always, always be taken with a grain of salt.
Yep.
Until you experience it for yourself.
One of my big things is, especially for Steam reviews, looking at the number of hours that people have in a game. And especially with Ark Survival Evolved was a huge one. Where when they introduced, when they hadn't quote unquote fully released the first game and they put out a paid expansion, people lost their damn minds and they tanked the scores. And I'm like, you have 2,000 hours in this game, and you're saying it's a bad game.
Yeah.
No.
Also, the same people who are like, this game isn't finished. Big old early access, like on the front. It's like, yeah, no. Shit, it's not finished. What the fuck are you talking about? It's in big blue letters directly underneath the title. The fuck you mean?
Well, and I'll be on the
fuck
Ark
you
boat all
mean?
day.
No.
No pun intended, Ark boat. But I'll be on the Ark thing all day where it's like people are like, oh yeah, but you know, this isn't a finished game. And I remember picking it up way back when it was new. And I was like, holy crap, this is a finished game. What do you mean this isn't a finished game? And they kept rolling out more and more creatures and more cool stuff. And honestly, it just felt like they did it right, in my opinion, where it felt like you were getting free updates and upgrades rather than you were waiting for the game to become playable. Now, I've got a lot of other gripes about, especially where the studio has gone since then and all the other stuff. However, like...
I agree. Who do we got online? Rock. Oh, Rock, Sass's boyfriend. Okay, you're not an alt then. Wait. Rock.
Oh, I saw someone else who was 25. Was that someone that you invited to the guild?
Someone else who's 25?
Yeah.
Oh, Storm. It's Zhang. It's one of Zhang's alts.
Ah.
Actually, that's the highest level character Zhang has. Let's see, because Zhang Mac is level 13 Paladin. Their mage is level 17. Their druid is level 25. Holy fuck. Listen, they got more dedication than I do.
Right.
Like I have my mage waiting in the wing, but
Well, I saw and I'm like, somebody else hit 25 before me? Oh.
with all respect for you and them, they clearly are sweatier. Respectfully.
Oh, very
respectfully.
Much so. Very much so.
Yeah, freaking yeah, Zhang, if you are watching this stream, respectfully, we are some sweaty motherfuckers. we stand that.
Yeah.
Honestly, this is just a great game to zone out to.
It is. It is.
It really is.
Absolutely, it is.
It's just entertaining enough and just
Engaging.
engaging enough that you don't get bored.
Yeah. Well,
Thank
it's
you,
like
Kat. I was talking.
I've just been listening to you guys this entire time,
Mm-hmm.
and I've just been kind of zoned out.
Mm-hmm. Friggin', like I'm max level. I have most of the best items equipped for myself right now. I'm still having fun. Especially with like the goal of like, okay, I have a job that will like to get people what they need kind of deal. Cause now I'm doing like I'm Papa Patron.
We love our Papa Patron.
Mm-hmm.
He gives all the bags.
Oh yeah. And also in this way, I can make sure that people don't need to spend their money like I have on some of their best in slots. Paul Pow Patron. Papow Patroon. However you said that, Savannah. That hurt my brain.
That is
Papaw.
fair because Papow Patroon is the Wish version of you.
Listen. Listen. You listen here, you piggly fuck nugget.
Yes, I'm listening.
No, that's it.
Oh, okay.
Also,
I was
CL
saying
from
I am
Black Butler
enjoying
is a
playing-
warlock. You were saying?
Straight up.
I am enjoying playing a priest a bit more.
Oh, yeah.
Than
Oh, good.
Yeah, each class has their own fun. Shadow mages, not in a great spot right now, but that's subject to change by phase 2. Well, yeah,
Phase 2.
out of the DPS classes, they deal the least damage right now.
Ah,
They definitely need more buffs. They also don't have Shadow Form yet, which is a level 30 or 40 ability. Yeah, I may have dropped that CL bomb on Savannah earlier.
No, it's straight up.
She
Like, it's
lost
not
her
even-
goddamn mind. Yeah, it's not even a stretch.
Not even
if
a little.
If you really
like,
want to go
it's
mechanically,
obvious.
obviously, Archfiend Patron, Sebastian,
Obviously.
an overpowered version of Pact of the Chain. Sebastian's the familiar, who is also the patron.
Yeah.
And all of the pact magic and spells and abilities and shit are not done through CL. They're done through the familiar, aka Sebastian.
Yeah.
Mariaja has been losing their goddamn mind over this for hours now. I was just like, CL's a warlock. And just, like, metaphorically walked away, and, like, she has been spiraling.
Okay. So Pluto is a familiar, but does not necessarily mean that you can only have one familiar.
I wouldn't even say that.
I'd say he's a pet,
I would
but
say
that's fine.
Pluto's just an entirely different NPC. Completely separate. Because remember, he was a boss at first.
Yeah, they literally just picked him up and been like, "You're mine now."
He's not tied to the CL warlock / patron dynamic. Like, obviously he's a character, right? But I don't think that that he has anything to do with the dynamic that's going on. Maybe a Hound of Ill Omen if CL took levels in Sorcerer, Shadow Sorcerer.
I mean, well, but he can't really summon it. It's just there.
Yeah.
Like, it literally.
He's not tied
there's
to
no...
any feature or mechanic that you can compare to.
Yeah.
And if anything, I'm pretty sure that Pupper's is more loyal to Sebastian than anybody else.
Which is hilarious. 'Cause
hilarious.
Poor Sebastian doesn't like dogs.
Mm-hmm. Because demon.
But he loves kitties.
Oh, yeah.
Which is adorable.
Honestly, I feel like it should work the other way around. Because cats are guardians of the dead. But that dog
so
is
we're
a
dogs and-
hellhound.
Yes and no.
We're going
I can
with
see,
the Baskerville
I can see
things.
it strewn either way.
Like, you could go for the funny answer that God doesn't want the cats around because they'll knock everything off the edge.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Sorry, not sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I love the trope where dogs go to heaven and cats go to hell. Why do cats go to hell? They like to watch.
That's great. Was more with Angela than Sebastian. Oh, right, Angela's a person. I completely
Remember who
forgot.
Angela is? I've got to look.
CL's
that person
fiance?
exists.
I think?
Angela's totally a person that exists.
Yeah. I think?
Oh no, Angela is the White Knight, the fallen angel.
I forgot all about Angela.
They're not a huge part of the series, honestly.
Yeah. I forgot there was an angel involved ever.
Mm-hmm. It's only like really the last episode where it becomes a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Angela was definitely the angel of all time.
Yeah. Totes.
I need to watch Black Butler.
It's really good.
It's a fun.
So there is a video of a guy who, one of the things that he does for TikTok is blind react to Black Butler stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
love
but
people that blind react to Hellsing Ultimate Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
uh-huh. But in this particular case, there is a thread of him railing, like just ranting about Mayrin, who is the nearsighted or the farsighted maid.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, how, like the entire crew, he's like, how is this a thing? Sebastian has to do everything. What good are they? And then he finds out what's going on. He's like, oh.
That's fucking
It was really
great.
good.
What is she, a sniper or something? Don't tell me I nailed it on the head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Straight up.
God fucking damn it.
Yeah, the farsighted maid who is an assassin. Not a stretch.
It's Bardic.
The-
Hey.
Hi.
Hi, Bardic.
Hello.
Yeah, there's
Hello.
like you find out like all of them are actually like really highly specialized and they really shouldn't be like doing domestic house things and that's why they suck at them so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And the my favorite is the reason why Mayrin speaks in the most annoying voice like this is her glasses are so heavy they press down on her nose.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that's why her voice changes when she takes them off.
I love that. It's adorable.
It's really cool. Like,
An entire enlightening. Yeah, that is true.
was that I don't think I saw it from Danny. It was somebody else, but I'll have to check it out from if it's the same Danny who does the hero villain stuff. I'm assuming.
I don't remember.
Danny on TikTok?
Yeah, because I'm thinking
Yeah.
about Danny Phantom.exe.
Yeah, that's the same one.
Same guy.
Yeah, that's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Didn't that Danny end up on Jack C. Whooper's show or
Correct.
something?
Mhm.
Yeah.
People lost their goddamn
remember
mind
seeing
over
that.
that.
Oh yeah, that was.
Yeah, I just followed Jack C. Whooper.
He's pretty cool too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
adore that man.
Oh, and apparently, Mr. Pierre of his Quinky Taylor's just literally just learned that people who go to Ren fairs are thirsty motherfuckers.
Just now,
Just?
like just
Just now.
recently, like
He had
what?
no idea.
What?
He had never been to a Ren fair. Wasn't part of his thing.
If I wasn't already sitting down, I would need to sit the fuck down.
Right?
How
Double
do
sit
you
down.
not know?
I mean, I guess if you've never been to a Ren fair, you
I've
wouldn't
never
really
been to a
think
Ren
about
fair,
it.
and I know all about that fucking shit. The fuck you mean?
Somebody who is in that profession of kink and stuff. I'm like, how did this get by you?
I'm not even in that profession, and I knew that.
And I am looking forward to what he's going to come up with that newfound knowledge.
Like, how do you not know? How? I just...
It's magic, boss.
I'm so confused. Like,
It's
his
okay,
entire
just don't
thing
think-
is a Venn fucking diagram.
Yeah, we are.
Damn it, my bags are full.
This is why I need to get people their fucking bags.
I'll be honest, I'm still in the starting area.
Oh no, you should be. It takes a while to level up. Like, take your time with
It
it.
really does.
Enjoy the world. Discover runes, and if there are any runes that you know you want, look it up. Nothing wrong with that.
I don't know what runes are.
That's fine.
You'll find out in the first quest that gives you a rune. They're
ago
essentially
did you-
secrets that you could that for every class that you can unlock throughout the world. And it's a lot of fun to like get them, and they can change your entire fucking play style.
How long ago did you start, Flash?
This character today.
There you
Oh,
go.
okay, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, don't worry about like rushing to level up. Like it took me several days.
Do not
Oh,
rush.
the only
Like,
reason I'm
get
sticking
past-
around the Northshire Valley
Mhm.
is because I want to get to level 6, learn all the spells I can from the priestess lady here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're pretty good about it being a pretty natural progression if you're like sticking to one area
Yeah.
and not being insane and making an elf that then comes all the way to Northshire and then goes all the way back and vice versa.
Just enjoy the game. Anything
what I'm
less is
doing.
dumb.
No, you don't understand. I have to be level 25 now.
People don't play video games for enjoyment.
The hell's wrong with you?
You freak.
I fucking swear.
Which
Yes,
one?
I
You
know
just did.
swear.
Which swear?
Yes. Gotta put shit away.
I'm so close to level 6.
Yeah.
Hugh, do you have any medium armor kits? Or do you need some?
I do not have any. I
Okay.
could use some though,
I will send some to
especially
you.
since I'm a tank. Yeah, I should probably do that.
What brings
There we go. Haha!
me the stars?
Make some more seasoned wolf kebabs.
Greetings.
I'm gonna put these away.
I'm also
actually.
doing the nice thing of healing everyone I pass.
Yeah. It's one of the joys of this game. I should also probably check the auction house. Okay, one of the things I will say is I'm super glad that they included the auction house in Darnassus as well for Season of Discovery / Classic. Because in Vanilla, there was no auction house in Darnassus. You had to go to Stormwind and Ironforge for that, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. There is a possibility I could be wrong, actually. Wait a minute. Fact-checking myself. I don't have time to fact-check myself yet, but I will. Ooh.
I got a sword.
Hell yeah. Speaking of which, I gotta
Where's the
look up
sword?
to see...
And I hit level 6, so I can run back to the Abbey here.
Dang. Not those. I need a hone silhouette of...
The only thing worth going back to Black Butler for, Savannah, is the Undertaker, because goddamn,
The Undertaker is a good bean.
he is amazing.
Okay, let's see what the cloth armors are looking like. Because I need cloth armor that gives predominantly stamina. Durable belt of the eagle. No. Oh, that's so fucking expensive and not worth it. That is also not fucking worth it.
How do we split stacks again?
Shift right click on the item in your inventory.
Ah, perfect, thank you.
Yeah. Did he fuck skills? What? Is that a thing?
Nope, not doing that.
Doing what?
Some guy came up to me and he's like, kneel before me.
Oh, yeah, no, gross.
Unless he's an NPC, but even then, no.
No, it was a player.
No, too gross.
/ LOL and then walk away.
I would.
I just didn't dignify it with a response.
Smart.
Also valid.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, you were correct. Undertaker and Vincent did totally have a thing.
Did they?
You are not wrong. Yeah.
Sus.
Running around at the speed of fast.
Got places to go, gotta kick some fucking ass.
Okay, it looks like I have what I need. Sanguine hand wraps. What does that even look like? Oh, it's booty. I don't really need intelligence. I need more agility. So I'm gonna hold on to these ivy cloth gloves that I have. Yeah, I'm an agile motherfucker.
No, just comment I made in my head.
Of what?
You ever get those thoughts where you don't fully agree with what they are?
Yeah, it's called intrusive thoughts. Why?
Because the first thing that went through my head is, are you sure about that? when you said you didn't need more intellect?
I'm gonna be real with you. I don't need more intellect. I don't want any
you're not
more.
wrong.
Please. I already have depression.
And I hate to say it, but one of the leading causes of depression is currently, in our current world, is knowing what the fuck's going on.
Mm-hmm. Ignorance is bliss. And I need to shoot whoever said that. Like the first person who ever invented that phrase. Alrighty, heading back to Ashenvale for more of the frickin'. And you know what? What's actually kind of fun about this? The going back and forth for the Silver Ring Sentinel rep is, at the very least, it gives me a chance to interact with y'all, like in the VC and in the chat and shit.
Yeah, rather than being like super focused
Yeah.
on stuff. Yeah.
Because literally, like, I'm doing you can turn your brain off content. And we can also talk about World of Warcraft and, like, the things that we're building toward. Because right now, the guild, like, all of us together, we're working toward eventually going to Black Fathom Deeps. We have 2 level 25s. Keeper, aka Gentle here, is level 24. Givmig is willing to be a healer if we need it. Then we got Engavin, who's going to heal. We have Mon, aka Ide, who's going to tank. Which Ide has also let us know that a break is coming in their work schedule, so they'll be getting all sweaty and shit to level up. But, you know, within everyone's own time. Bardic is a level 16. We got Drenger and Flash, who are
level?
just starting in. We have Caliban, who's a paladin. And paladins can be any 3.
Mm-hmm.
Versatility.
Yeah. And then Javelin, best believe Javelin's probably going to be one of our top DPSers because, like, she is veteran vanilla WoW hunter. And then we got my baby, who's a rogue. Can always use a rogue. Wait, do we have other rogues?
I'm also gonna say that India's been kicking ass in the levelings. Like I keep like looking at me like, how did you get that high that fast?
And India's never played World of Warcraft before, vanilla or retail. And I also know why. I know how. Stubborn.
Oh yeah, no,
And
I'll take it.
Another fun fact of how I know why they've leveled up so quickly in such a short amount of time. Because they don't know what they're doing. I adore you, baby. I am not trying to throw you under the bus. But, like, killing and killing and killing and killing and killing, sometimes because, like, they didn't know where they were going, or, freaking trying the same mobs over and over and over again. Like, it's because they solo everything. Like, granted, and this is the scary part, if they did do group content with other people, even if it was randos, they would be even higher level right now.
They're a monster.
Yeah.
In the
Like,
best
baby,
way.
you're actually good at this game, even when you don't know what you're doing. Like, they just found out I think it was the other day, that they had 8 unspent talent points. They were accidentally nerfed and still killing shit like crazy. Let that sink in
What
real
the hell are
quick.
talent points?
My partner unintentionally nerfed themselves because they forgot talent points were a thing, but they were still wrecking shop. That's skill.
That's awesome.
And to answer your question, Flash, hit N or go down to your bar and there's a icon that says talents, and those are your talent points to
You
spend.
also don't get them until level 10.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
I got friar's robes.
Yeah, Kingdoms of Avalorn. Yeah, honestly, that probably plays a huge role into like how you've been able to grind so well is the how much time and experience you have with Kingdoms of Avalorn. Which I've always wanted to give a shot. It seems like my cup of tea, despite its
I've
age.
heard good things.
Despite its age, I've only ever heard good things, and the fan base that still exists are zealous in a wholesome way. So yeah, just to clarify, baby, darling, sweetheart, this is more praise than anything.
It was anything other than praise?
Oh, in case anybody thought that it wasn't.
No, that's possible. I am neurospacey, you know.
Oh yeah,
As are we all.
yes, are we all?
This is the way.
This is the way.
We are a neurospice rack up in here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So,
We're all one big spicy noodle shop.
Um, we are an Indian curry market of spicy.
yep. Speaking of which, oh yeah, babe, if this is you as a noob, you're gonna be terrifying when you actually know what you're doing. And you are picking up what you are doing. Because, like, I know, it was like, baby didn't know that talent points were a thing. But they figured it out themselves that they had forgotten about it. I didn't remind them. They were like, oh shit, talent points are a thing. And literally, I'm just sitting here on call with them, and I'm just like, you've been leveling that fast without using your talent points? Huh.
Like,
A little
fucking
terrifying.
What?
Yeah. It's like, I'm sorry, what? I've been playing this game for 20-ish years. Holy fuck, babe.
They're a speedrunner.
I wouldn't even say that, because they've been enjoying the game, like, as it goes. They also keep on forgetting to equip runes, because because the runes are tied to either your glove, your leg, or your chest slot. The item, specifically. So when you get an upgrade, you need to remember to equip the rune that you had to it, to that item, to that slot. Yeah. There's also only 2 runes that I don't have, and I know where they are, but it's going to take a lot of grinding to get them. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it. I don't need them. They're not runes that, like, I'm going to miss. Because I already know what runes I'm going to use for the raid. And those that I'm using right now are just, are what I'm going to be using for, like, the pretty much all the content I'm doing until, like, certain changes are made. There's a few options. Like, if I want to get more, like, a better aggro on multiple mobs, like, I just need to put in switch out 2 different runes, but keep metamorphosis. That's a fun part about the runes too. I don't need to spend money like I do with my talent skills. Like, I can just switch them in. It's like, oh, I'm going to do DPS. Switch out the metamorphosis for a different one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm prepping for raids with y'all.
With us? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Friggin', I am becoming the best tank I can be for y'all, because guess who's tanking with me, you motherfucker? So you better start learning to get good as a tank while I'm helping y'all prep, like getting y'all the 10 slot bags and getting our cloth wearers to the best in slot that I can craft for them, which, by the way, tailors can make the best in slot slippers. That in the BFD raid, I can get the recipe, the tailor recipe, to upgrade the spider silk boots to be epic quality. I can make it even better.
Ah, shit. Well,
The
fine,
best
I'll
in
get
slot
good,
boots.
only...
But are they red? Can you make them ruby slippers?
No. But they can make you temporal.
Yeah, close enough. There's no place like home.
Yeah. I've been around since 2004. The fuck you mean? I played WoW when it was just called WoW Beta. I'd knock it off. I kited for level 60 raid content in Blackrock Mountain for Neltharian's Lair and shit. Like, you remember that Drake that you had to have one hunter kite? I earned my Rock Delar longbow of the ancients. I have tussled with the Lay Ragnaros. What was the Great Depression like?
Oh my god.
It's not the Great Depression. It was the Great Recession.
Yeah, and it sucked.
There was nothing like graduating college in 2008.
Also, I'm totally giving you shit because I never tanked during vanilla. Never once. But I also know how to tank. It's rough. It's a lot harder in classic / vanilla than in retail, for certain.
Absolutely.
But I am also very willing to learn. And so far, I've been learning pretty well. Like, I have my add-ons for managing threat. I'm still getting used to it, but it's there. Also, you have ingots from Indie and Givemig. Givemig had like a whole bank full of copper ingots and didn't know what to do with them. So I just said like, hey, send them to Ide. That being said, before the next Ashen Vale battle happens, I'm going to have a quick bio break, and when we come back, we're gonna be talking more and hanging out while I grind for the Silverwing, the Silverwing Sentinels rep, because at Honored I can get the best cloak and necklace for my build. So yeah, see you when we come back.
Gonna get you all blinged out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, hello. It is I, the Lucifer.
You good?
I'm not going to. Wait. Oh, am I really gonna? I'm actually eyed right now.
Do it.
See,
Do
seasonal
it.
depression.
What's the worst they're gonna
Seasonal
do?
depression is not clinically called seasonal affective disorder. Okay, actually, no. It might be clinically. But psychologically, like in the psych field, it is not called that. I forget what it is, but it's not that. I only know this because, active psych major in school. And that is a very common malady that shows up. Is there a possibility I could be wrong and I'm just misremembering? Sure, but who has time to double check that shit? Also, real quick, while I'm running to the location of the Battle for Azeroth progress, I'm pulling up Steam. Everybody get the clips ready, because Misty wanted my reaction clipped. To see what I got for my Steam gift.
Mm-hmm.
Manage gifts. There we go. Loading, loading, loading. Pending gift. Hugh, while you're out there exploring the galaxy, when you find the star that burns the brightest, remember to name it after yourself. Hugs if accepted. Have fun. Misty. And it's Starfield. Thank you.
Sick.
Aw.
It has now been added to my account.
Yay.
Also, what up, Sin? Thank you so much, Misty. I appreciate you. And I'm about to be in a raid to take on this Ashenvale race again.
Good luck.
I won't need it.
What is?
True.
It really is like that kind of feature right now. It should get better over time.
Well, shit.
Also, do you guys, since I just got back, did you guys address seasonal affective disorder? From
1
Aiden
second.
in the chat.
As soon as I see it, I'll know it. You know what? I'm gonna own up to this. I was right. I was thinking about you know what I was thinking of? I was thinking of severe depression. Like severe chronic depression has a different name. So yeah, no, I'm gonna absolutely own up to that. You were right, I was wrong. It is called seasonal affective disorder.
Which, again, is just kind of a dick acronym.
Yeah. Friggin'. But yeah, no, now that I'm thinking about it, it was what severe chronic depression is. I do not know if I fall into that category. I am not properly diagnosed, but yeah, my depression, the severity is seasonal, but not based on the seasons. Like, it's usually like trigger phases. And by trigger, I mean like triggers that no longer apply anymore. Like what is it? Like, me and my siblings usually get depressed around May or April because of something that happened in the family 10 years ago. And we've noticed that we all like are synchronized to that time period of when we just get like super depressed, and we all know why. without going into personal details, of course.
Of course.
That is a type of depression that is affected by real-world events, which sometimes gets categorized into PTSD
Yeah.
or complex PTSD. Sometimes is considered depression, depending on some other weird categorizations, but they really overlap.
and
like a lot
and
of
I do suffer from like actual from other form, not actual PTSD. That's a misnomer. I do suffer from PTSD due to other traumatic experiences in my life that are completely unrelated to what happened around April/May. But the but I do suffer from like depression that is persistent with periods of time where it gets worse, but it is perpetually there.
So there are, and I know this because, so my diagnosis, or at least I have been diagnosed, and it changes a little bit depending on what pop science is going on, but the what's called double depression, or I have periods of double depression because I have dysthymia, which is a persistent low-grade depression, which is pretty much just always there. There's a different one called persistent depressive disorder, which is basically a higher level of depression that lasts longer than 2 years, and chronic major depression. And if you're having a spike of any of these in any order, the layman's terms is saying it's or it's double depression. So you already, like, if you already have like a lower than average bar of where your moods sit at, and then it goes lower in either for season affective disorder or a depression caused by PTSD and a bunch of other stuff. That's kind of where that balance sits at, if I remember correctly.
That sounds about right.
There's a lot of word soup that gets thrown around, and there's still depression specifically is still something that they're really trying to like figure out what's caused where and why, and a lot of a really interesting thing in the field for me.
I can't confirm.
A real interesting thing for me right now in the field is the rise of complex PTSD and how they're now treating that in what otherwise was clumped in as just depression, is now being kind of shifted in the mental schema of the academic community, and it's quite interesting.
Well, yeah. We're understanding that there are so many causes and manifestations but also not trying to overcomplicate the diagnoses where it's unnecessary. So yeah, like those are all things. It's an ever evolving.
Yeah, the other definitely. And one of the other things that I'm finding very interesting is TikTok has really brought out a bunch of, specifically for neurospicy or ADHD, autism kind of thing, with people coming together and talking about their symptoms and getting a feeling that they're not crazy, they're just different. And getting people to talk about why, for example, they hate their food touching, why some materials bother them, and getting down to a root cause of things that otherwise was seen as something not to be cured or was wrong or something like that, and now like seeing these groups being like, no, this is just a thing that some people are sensitive to this.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah, that's been super prevalent in the psychology community, where we are even in our curriculum, it is being heavily emphasized that we are moving away from the idea that mental health issues are a problem to fix, rather symptoms to either manage or help. Because a lot of these maladies, the majority of them, in fact, are lifelong, right? And that they can't just be magicked away. And that any understanding of, like, any concept of trying to do it that way does more harm than any good it could possibly bring about. AKA just normalizing mental health awareness. It's really big in the academia right now.
Which is really nice.
Mm-hmm. And if you run across a therapist who doesn't subscribe to that, look at their age. Just saying. Look at their age. That'll explain why. I actually did end up canceling on, cutting ties with my previous therapist because, it's like, oh, you're too old-fashioned.
Mm-hmm.
And for anyone in the chat, and I'm sure Hugh knows this, but for anybody else listening to this conversation, fire your therapist if it's not working out. They're not going to take it personally. It is professionalism.
And if
you're not the right match,
if they do take it personally, that's even more of a reason. Because that therapist that I'm referring to did take it personally. And with that, I was just like, oh yeah, no, absolutely not.
Where's the guy who runs around with the giant red flag when you need him?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this therapist was so old, they worked directly under the founder of cognitive behavioral therapy. And also made it a point to say that often.
Great.
Yeah.
But that's one of the...
I can't say I'm familiar with what that means.
So, cognitive behavioral therapy is a therapeutic practice that does work when done correctly. And I say that because on the surface, it seems like it's the psychological version of Suck It Up, Buttercup, when not handled correctly. Right? When handled correctly, it promotes accountability, self-accountability, and self-practice for managing one's symptoms. Not saying, but also not making it so that, basically helping the sufferer of a psychological malady regain a semblance of control with help, right? A lot of that helped me with dealing with triggers to the point where I don't experience them like I used to. For example, I'm an alcoholic addict. I don't get triggered passing a bar or being around alcohol. And a lot of that had to do with practices related to cognitive behavioral therapy of taking back some semblance of control while still accepting that this is that I am at a psychological disadvantage when it comes to some aspects, right? And it can be handled very, very well. It has helped so many people. But when handled by a more, for lack of a better term, conservative hand, can be very invalidating. You really have to know what the fuck you're doing when it comes to the therapist.
Yeah. So, to break down cognitive behavioral therapy is basically changing the way you think about your behaviors.
Altering your perception of yourself and your behaviors with yourself and your behaviors.
Right. So, for example, sorry, brain went in like 12 different
You're good.
directions at that moment and was like, for example, here's 12 examples, give them all to him. It's like, shut up, brain. But for example, if you have something that is an intrusive thought, let's just go with because I know people in this chat and stuff, I'm not good enough. What you would do for cognitive behavioral therapy is have a mental trigger that when you say, where you catch yourself thinking, I'm not good enough, you take a step back and you evaluate it. Is that logical? Is that not logical?
Yeah.
99% of the time, it's not going to be logical.
And it does take practice. So much practice.
Oh, it's so hard.
Another example.
It's so
mountains out of molehills, which is something that like I used to do frequently. It's
catastrophizing.
Another example, being neurotic about being neurotic. If that makes any sense. I feel like I might need to expand on that a little bit more.
For example, accommodations.
Being distressed that I'm distressed. Cognitive behavioral therapy addresses that.
Specifically, for example, if you need accommodations at work, and you are self-conscious about having accommodations at work, so you never take them, which then leads to burnout and sort of things because you're not using the tools that you need. It is that where cognitive behavioral therapy would come in would say, hey, you're right. You're not like other people. You do need these accommodations, but there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
It is as transparent as if somebody who needs a wheelchair is being forced to constantly walk, even if they're quote unquote capable of walking. They're like, oh, you're capable of walking. You don't need the wheelchair. And they're in agony by the end of the day because they actually need the wheelchair. But because of the stigma, it's one of those embracing the fact that, yeah, you need a wheelchair.
A lot of it is
can do it without a
logic
wheelchair.
against the illogical within your own mind. Like I said, super helpful. And those of y'all who have lived through people trying to invalidate your mental health, y'all can see why, if phrased or handled wrong, this can be poorly implemented, right?
It can end up just reinforcing your negative thoughts and stigmas about yourself, which is not helpful to anyone.
Exactly. It really is practicing logic in the face of illogical thinking. It does not solve neuroses or mental health issues, but it mitigates their damage internally within oneself significantly. And that's a huge thing about why it's called cognitive behavioral therapy. It's cognitive. You're actively practicing logicking your way from harmful thoughts and behaviors, and with enough guidance, it's meant to be done within yourself by yourself, not other people. Because when other people tell you something similar, it really does feel invalidating. And it's not like you're invalidating yourself in the process either. It's really practicing that when you have those moments of catastrophizing or being upset at something that's occurred, making it more and more instinctual over time to take a moment and address it logically. And because a lot of our mental health issues are emotional in nature, that can be really fucking hard to do. And it's not for the most severe cases of mental health issues. I wouldn't recommend that somebody who has hallucinatory PTSD some war veterans go through. It's not for that, right? There are whole different treatments for that.
Yeah.
But for people who have depression, anxiety, especially anxiety, it helps. I've seen it make a difference for people who have such severe anxiety that they'll go into panic attacks, where their panic attacks and anxiety attacks, which are not the same thing, are far less frequent. Is it completely gone? No. But they're able to handle it a lot better, and without invalidating their own emotions on the matter.
Yeah. A great example of that is, if you do struggle with that, is practicing that it doesn't need to be dealt with right now.
Correct.
Right now, you are in the moment. Everything seems much larger.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is get through it, but after you get through it, you can think about it.
Yep.
You can think about it logically, whatever, but you have to get through that
A
moment.
lot of my carefree nature, despite what I've been through and despite what I experience, like, on a mental health level every day, it's why I seem so carefree. Because things like cognitive behavioral therapy have helped me, like, live in the moment, make sure I'm grounded in the moment. And that took years of practice. Years. But it was so fucking worth it.
And depending on your circumstances, and it only really takes one really bad thing to happen or even semi-bad thing to happen that turns into a confirmation bias.
Mm-hmm.
That you're like, oh, see, told you everything was going to go bad.
Mm-hmm.
It can set you back so far. But it's still worth practicing it. And, you know, we're throwing out examples, we're throwing out stuff, but
Definitely do your
I'm
own
gonna
research.
be very
on it.
clear.
Yeah.
Do your own research, but also go to your own therapist who is going to do it specifically for you and your circumstances.
Yeah, because therapists who specialize in cognitive behavioral therapy, and that is a thing you can look up. They know that it is specialized to that person, and I guess the best way it can all be summarized is with the right therapist, with the right practices, uniquely tailored to you, cognitive behavioral therapy can really help you be kinder to yourself at the very least. At the very least, that is what you can gain. So yeah, Evil Firefly, that is... Oh, what is that term? Because that...
Infantilization?
It might. Unfortunately, I've also seen that used in, like, in other forms. So, like, I don't know if, like, that's actually what it's called, but, like, that is a thing.
It's a lot stronger with our generation
And it definitely...
than it seems to have been in the past.
Yeah, and it definitely... I think, like, that is a form of PTSD. It's a manifestation of such, anyway.
It's absolutely a trauma response.
It's a trauma response. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it's a thing.
It's also a cultural... So, currently in our culture, there is this thing with people who are older saying that we're childish. Oh, millennials are just buying toys. They can't even afford houses. They can't whatever. When the straight up reality does not match that view at all.
Yeah.
Because they didn't, like, as far as buying toys and stuff, they did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They won't tell you that because, oh no, that's a classic. This is trash.
Yeah. So, like, if it's in that context, just absolutely, for a lack of better words, that's invalid.
No, God, no, it's not a bad thing.
Infantizing the younger ones for things they do.
Yeah, if it's... I'm not saying, like, that's what Evil Firefly is referring to, but in the event that Evil Firefly is referring to, you know, the older generation saying, like, oh, you know, these hobbies are childish, which, you know, there are still people online who say that, surprisingly.
There are people who say it with their whole damn chests on news networks.
Yeah. But yeah, in the event that that's what you're referring to. Age regression, that's it.
There,
Thank you.
age regression is the proper term, I believe. Infantilization is actually more of an action where you are invalidating someone in a way that makes them seem younger or more junior to your experiences.
Yeah.
Talking
culture would
down
be
to someone.
infantilization.
Yeah. It's a version of talking down to someone, infantilization.
Condescension.
But in a way that like implies or denotes age.
E.
Yeah, you may
Or-
be 30 years old, but because I'm your parent, I know things better than you do, despite the fact that you're an adult.
It's closer to you might be 30 years old, but you still like Pokemon. Why are you such a child? You obviously can't make good decisions for yourself because you bought a plushie instead of a house.
Yeah, that is another way to phrase, like another version of it. Like there's a few usages of it. Is talking down to someone, treating them as younger than they are. Yeah, in a condescending way specifically.
In a lot of ways, it is rooted in gaslighting. Like, yeah. Welcome to Psych Talk.
It's not a bad technique. Yep, I was actually just about to say, like, it's not always negative, because sometimes, like, you have to be like, yeah, no, you are a child. Shut the fuck up, right? But usually it's ill-advised when addressing, like, full-grown adults. And no, I'm not talking about 18 years old. You're a child. Shut the fuck up.
Now, the other thing with that is, for example, if you have like littles or like embracing your inner child, finding joy.
Yeah, we are not talking about littles in any of what we just said. That is an entirely different category.
You know, there are a lot of ways of, or things like healing your inner child, embracing your inner teen, doing these things, or finding pieces of yourselves that you were told as a child or especially when you outgrew the quote unquote years you should enjoy something that you still enjoy. There's a big process of letting yourself enjoy what you like that is actively sabotaged against in our culture. And a lot of times, like, there was a great quote, which was, oh, you bought that. Was that a necessity? It's like, it kept me from committing suicide. So yeah, it was a necessity.
And also, Evil Firefly, real quick, that is one way it can happen. Could it be from being forced to be an adult during teenage years and now you're free from it? You act the age you were never able to be. That is one way it can come about, but it's not the universal only, like, way that can happen. You were saying gentle.
No, I was done. So we're good.
Friggin' eyed.
Yeah.
What's I doing?
Just being silly.
Silly goose.
I'd said, my inner child is loud and there's 4 of them. Oh, wait. That's not what you meant.
Now that's called DID.
Yeah. But here's the biggest thing. When I was in school for psychology, the words that impacted me the most through the rest of my education with psychology was, it is only a psychological problem if it is a problem.
Yeah.
In other words, if you are hurting yourself or someone else, or it's causing you distress. If it's none of the above, who cares?
In the academic community, in the psychological community, and even in the DSM-5, look it up, and the majority of mental health diagnoses insist that, like, for it to be this diagnosis, it needs to negatively impact the quality of life of the person or persons, like, in their life. it needs to cause harm, like to either the person, to the person and those in their in their life, or the other people in their life, because there are some mental health disorders that also completely remove harm done to think narcissism, for example.
Mm-hmm.
The narcissist is not having a terrible time necessarily,
Yeah.
Around them.
but the people around them.
But
yeah.
again, that's the harm to others.
Exactly. And that is essentially like a staple and like one of the bare minimum requirements for a mental health disorder to be a disorder.
There's a lot of reasons why specifically, and I only learned this recently. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, that's a thing. Apparently with autism, one of the symptoms, quote unquote, is a strong sense of justice.
Oh,
I've read
yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that.
And it makes a lot of sense because there is a bias towards fairness or whatever, but when you're talking about something being a malady, something that is harmful to the person or the people around them, having a strong sense of justice, if they are that passionate about it, that becomes altruism.
Yeah.
And so I'm not sure, like, there's a big debate on whether or not that can be considered a symptom at all. There have also been a lot of, there was an interesting study that was done, which was how the medical field views a topic when they, it's just the trauma, sparkle rainbows. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a really interesting study that got done where what they did is they took people who were neurospicy, the ADHD autism spectrum, and basically did a test that you would normally have for a judge of morality, which is your morality consistent whether or not people are around or you're alone? And when you look at this, the study, and when you think about what is the quote unquote healthy thing to do, it warped based on the fact that the subsect that they were looking at, people who they considered to have a mental disorder. Oh, hey, sweet tea.
Yo, what up, sweetie? We talking psychology while I'm playing World of Warcraft. Irony.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna head to bed.
Yeah, have a good night,
Okay,
Flash.
get some sleep,
Hey, Flash, you enjoying the game so far?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's been a stressful day.
Understandable.
It's almost like you burned your hand. Like, pain's gonna take a lot out of you.
Nighty
It's
night.
Night night.
Good night.
Yeah, take care.
Later.
Night night.
You're
Yeah,
gonna be the guy,
and
but you
you should
hate
be this-
studies like that? Yeah.
Well, and one of the nice quote-unquote silver linings of this particular study is they saw that people with ADHD autism maintained the same level of morality quotient, regardless of whether or not they were being watched. Whereas people who tended to be, were considered to be neurotypical, would be less moral when they didn't think there were people around. So, but because they had already predetermined as part of their view schema of this experiment that the ones who were wrong or sick were the ADHD autism side of things, they skewed it. But because this paper came out and the study came out and people looked at it and been like, wait a second, this is a good thing. Why are you saying this as it needs to be something to be cured to make people less moral? Because overall, the standard of morality was higher
Yeah.
in people with autism, ADHD.
Yeah, and by the
So-
way, I still do stand by that there is such thing as objective morality in the form of genuine altruism and other such things. It is not a matter of faith or perceived morality. There's no subjectivity to doing kindness by others and not being shitty to others.
Mariaja, you are absolutely true. That is something that, in a good psych study,
Yeah.
After the experiment, individuals are asked what they think the experiment was about.
Yeah.
They're told one thing. They're asked what it's about. If they get it right, their data is usually disqualified from the rest of the data.
Yeah.
Because if they were behaving in a way that would alter the truth of the.
Yep.
So, as far as like this particular study and like how they judged morality, if I remember right, was basically they were left in a room with like candies, sodas, something like around, and whether or not they they snuck one or whatever, like that was in an area that was not considered like an area they should be like in a waiting room, but it was like behind the desk, and they went behind the desk and like took something. That's what they did for the morality of the study.
Yep.
But there's a lot of studies out there that are bad. Oh boy.
There is no shortage of bad studies. I should know we research terrible studies as a part of our academia.
I found one on accident when I was in school. We were supposed to be doing a paper to pick a random scientific article and know that you know what a p-value correlation studies are. Stanford prison experiment is screwed up, and there is a great book called The Lucifer Effect, which is written by the guy who did it. It's a great book. Screwed up study.
Yeah.
Anyway, this article was about you're supposed to basically just make sure you know what a p-value is and make sure you know what correlation is. And I get there and look at the paper. Then I hand it to my professor. I'm like, hey, am I crazy? I thought I understood this concept. And he looks at the paper, and p-values are high, like high correlation amounts. There is absolutely a correlation between X and Y. But in their conclusion, it said there is no correlation. What? Literally right there. You didn't even fudge the data. It's like right there. No correlation. So, being scientifically literate is important, but not everyone can sift through every single science report that comes out. Yes. I have a soapbox. I will stop.
No, I like hearing y'all talk about psychology, because it's still a subject that fascinates me. I just know I'm, at this moment in time, not smart enough to participate.
No?
Oh, yeah.
But still very
Wrong.
interested in
Oh
listening.
yeah, by the way, for clarification with what I'd said, yeah, like I will clarify. I deny agree that objective morality can, well, in Ide's case, like, yeah, it can exist. In my case, it does exist. However, more appropriately, that it cannot be measured. And I actually do stand to agree with that. But the paradox of it is that even though it cannot be measured, I still stand that it exists. And that's a paradox because usually for something to exist scientifically, academically, philosophically, however you want to phrase it, it needs to be measurable. That is an indicator of something's existence. Objective existence specifically, right? Freaking so like Ida and I have like different, like, we have the same view, but we have different I feel like we have only slightly different, what is it?
Approaches?
Not approaches, conclusions.
Oh, that tracks.
Also, hello.
Hello, boss.
It's also why Ide is a huge fan of the Torn Page King. Because, and honestly, like, I did write the Torn Page King to be like, yeah, no, like, you all know what that nihilism feels like. It's a relatable emotion of a character who is taking it to 11.
Fucking Torn Page Kenny over here.
So like I
Torn Page
don't
Kenny.
rebuke Ide for being like, nah, I relate, right? Like, because Torn Page King, like all of my other characters, comes from a place that I am familiar with.
Yeah.
I know what that feels like to just, like, even though I would never, like, go out and do it, wanting the entire world to burn, wanting to just not exist, or for everything to stop existing. It, like, that is anger there, you know? And it's an
Yeah, but
understandable
that's the-
anger. Obviously,
It's the whole
obviously,
point of
you know,
fantasy.
it's one thing to feel it, another to actually go through with it. Like, looking at you, Torn Page King. But yeah,
It's one thing to want it for yourself. It's another thing to drag everyone else down with you.
Yeah.
Because I know for myself, one of my biggest fears would be immortality without a chance to check out.
That's
The-
the reason I like the Torn Page
Yeah.
thing is because you've gone through a situation where I lost the most important person in the world. I cannot sit here and in good faith tell you that I'm moral enough that if I had the Torn Page King's power, I would not do the same
Yeah.
thing. That is me.
and honestly, like, that's entirely
I am
realistic
not
too, because
that.
Yeah.
with how much power the Torn Page King has, which is fantastical by design, yeah, absolutely. He is doing what people who feel like he feels would do.
Whether it's right or wrong is irrelevant. It's really easy to say, I will do the right thing in a situation. You actually have the option, right?
Yep. I 100% agree with you on that.
It's easy to be broke and say, if I was a billionaire, I would give all of this money to these people.
But then,
it's really
yeah,
fucking
super
easy
fucking
to say
easy.
that. When you don't have the option to do that. That's my standpoint on objective morality. Where me and Hugh differ on objective morality is, Hugh, answer this question. Do you believe that human beings are innately good or innately evil?
Neither.
I believe that human beings are innately evil because human beings are innately selfish, because self-preservation is by nature selfish, and you will always do whatever it takes to survive.
And this ties back into, like, the whole nature versus nurture. I am much more in favor of nurture in that way. That depending on environmental upbringing, like, that it is such a blank slate, anyone could be anything. But that's also, like, my perception on the matter. That's my take on the concept of, are people inherently good or inherently evil? I also don't think people are inherently good. But I think everyone is a blank slate.
A good example of that is quite literally the bystander effect, right? You got someone in a situation, say you can see someone in the window of a burning building, and you've got 30 people standing around outside, and none of them are doing anything. Why? Because in everyone's head, well, why does it have to be me? There are other people around here that could go save them just as easily as I could.
Yeah.
There's actually a different explanation for that too, but go ahead.
Well, yes, but, like, that is part of it. But also, being a person who has been in a situation where I have actually saved human lives, I can tell you that I've never done it in a situation where I thought that mine was at kid from drowning
Yeah.
a few months ago, and I knew without a shadow of a doubt I was going to be fine.
Mhm.
Right? I knew I'd be fine.
So,
Because self-preservation trumps everything, even common sense.
yeah, and morality with So there is a really interesting. So before I get on to that next piece, I want to mention that for the bystander effect, one of the other major reasons that people don't step in is because they think there's somebody else there who can do it better than they can. They have also we have been conditioned that in fantastical situations, such as a burning building or something like that, when you're actually looking, sometimes literally, down the barrel of a gun, there is a sense you're basically looking at it through a camera lens because it's so your brain is basically rehearsed that when XYZ happens, we stand and we watch, or we sit and we watch. It's
Right.
So but it's it's important to know how to break up the bystander effect.
Yeah.
And that is to point at someone, and basically you have to not just say, "Hey, you," but you, red coat, blue pants, call 911. Because immediately at that point, it has broken the feeling that you are just watching something happen, that you are literally you're waiting for Superman to come in or something like that. Suddenly there's no other choice but for you to act. And once one person usually it's about 10% of the crowd starts moving, then the bystander effect breaks.
Yeah. It's definitely a phenomenon that warrants further study from a lot of people. What's up?
I'd left. I didn't mean for I'd to leave.
Oh, no.
It's okay.
They're
Yay, he's back.
Yeah, it's currently at work, so you may see them drop off and on. That's just so they can get to a better place for better reception.
Well, that time was just reconnecting with my earbud.
Yeah, it was like, oh no, they left. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No.
I love
With
this conversation too much to not be a part of it.
Yeah. It's a good one.
it really is.
I'm just over here in the peanut, wondering why every time I jump into a chat that I'd's already in, it's mid-existential conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's literally what I does.
That's actually what I does.
I either add existential dread to the room or I add spicy to the room. There is no in between.
Let's say it without dread.
Yeah, pretty much, honestly.
Yeah,
That's
existential
I put
dread.
the dread in dread saying.
It especially happens when you're in the same room with boss.
But the
No,
conversations
y'all
are
don't even
always
know.
good.
Oh yeah,
It's
this is peak.
terrifying. It gets terrifying when it's just us and we don't give a shit about the off-the-wall things we say because we're literally just thought experimenting out loud.
Yeah. I would also say, Drenger, I would disagree, respectfully. I think humans, because of, my general understanding of human psychology and, for example, self-preservation, I consider that a true neutral, right?
Because you can go either way.
Because it can go either way. Because in Ide's example, Ide was the exception. Why? Right?
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, friggin' I would say that humans are inherently true neutral. And honestly, I don't even think that's a matter of disagreeing with where we stand philosophically on the nature of morality and shit. Because chaotic in the alignment chart, which is not a great way to denote actual human alignments.
No, we're more complex than 9
chaotic
squares.
is not chaotic is a matter of freedom for freedom's sake. Do what you want regardless of anything, but that is not the case when it comes to things like self-preservation, because there's always societal norms. That's a form of lawful. There's adhering to laws. That's a sign of lawful. There's the following the herd, like with, like with the bystander effect, which can be seen as a sort of a skewing of lawful, right? Freaking, like, there's too many layers of humanity and what it means to be human for me to believe that humans can be inherently chaotic or lawful or good or evil. That they are always perpetually within they are within a blank slate until outside forces bring about a change internally. Keyword internally.
Mm.
But that's also
So
just my take on it.
This is exactly the point where mine and Hugh's opinions about objective morality break down.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This is where they start to differ. Because I will make the statement that humans are innately evil because self-preservation is objectively evil.
Mm-hmm.
However, I will also make the statement that the lion is not evil because it eats the gazelle. That is just its nature.
I agree with that.
Right? The big distinction here is that they are not sapient beings. They are not capable of empathy in the way that human beings are capable of empathy.
Yep.
Objective morality, to use the D&D terms, right? Lawful good is following, say, the rules of God or yourself or the kingdom or whatever for the betterment of the whole. Lawful evil is you have a code, you have laws that you follow.
Mm-hmm.
However, they're self-serving.
And if they aren't, you'll make them. You'll try to change them to be self-serving.
Correct.
And to me, that's the nature of evil. Is it self-serving to the detriment of others?
Right, and that is why that right there is why I say that self-preservation is evil. Because if you have the option to save someone and you don't, because, well, what if it puts me at risk? What if I die too, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're putting yourself above someone else, which is morally evil, right?
I'm gonna throw a curveball at you because I'm genuinely curious of what your answer is gonna be.
Yeah, let's have a I'm just gonna remind everybody in the Twitch chat that we are having an intellectual discourse, not an argument.
Yep.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I'm just clarifying that with those who may not be familiar with our dynamic.
Fair.
The curveball that I want
absolutely changed my opinions.
The curveball I want to throw at you is outside of modern society. Let's go back to small towns of 100 people, 200 people. If one person is in danger, and it's dangerous to you to save them, and you also die, is that actually more detrimental to the group as a whole? And does that make that evil?
So this is actually a really interesting question.
I will clarify, we're working with hypotheticals.
Oh yes, correct.
It has many answers.
Mm-hmm.
It has many answers, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the Titanic problem. What you just asked is something that is referred to as the Titanic problem, right? You put the women and children and the elderly on the lifeboats. You put the men not on the lifeboats. Why? Because the men statistically have a higher chance of survival.
Mm-hmm.
The women can always make more kids, and the kids have yet to live their life. The elderly is 9 times out of 10, it's out of pity. And that's just me being very laissez-faire and very blunt about what it is.
Yeah.
That's how human beings operate.
I will
In a
argue
very,
that
very dimmed down sense.
I will argue that I think it is a relic of a time when knowledge was it was protecting the knowledge, because it wasn't well written down, it wasn't well whatever. It
Keyword
is
being the relic, not the current fact thereof.
correct.
Like it is antiquated. It is an antiquated notion.
It is a generational notion that has been carried down, you know, and kind of stuck. But the way I look at it is this is why, like, objective morality, because every single person here is going to give you a different answer here.
Yeah.
My personal belief is very feudal Japan, right? And the way they looked at situations like that, you stop looking at humans as humans and start looking at humans as numbers. And that is objectively wrong, right?
It's the con of living in a collectivist society.
Right, a highly abused collectivist society. Yeah.
You're stripping away the human element in order to make a rational decision. But the rational decision is, right? Well, is it a kid in the building? Is it a healthy person in the building? Is it an adult in the building? Is it, if you're talking a town of 100, is it a warrior in the building? Because warriors would be important. Is it a skilled blacksmith? Someone that is important for the village. But if it's, you know, say the town hall, or, you know, a sick elderly person, right? Not saving them would be the better choice if you were of a station that is more important to the whole. But that's the breakdown, right? What defines one life more important than the other? That's the problem that is proposed in the anime Full Metal Alchemist. What is it about the human soul? Well, there isn't one because every single person is different. So you can't put a finite value on a human life the way you can, okay, 1 gram of gold is always going to be 1 gram of gold. However, one 15-year-old is not always going to be the same as another 15-year-old.
I want to play devil's advocate with you for one moment, and this is, again, just devil's advocate. The idea that 1 gram of gold is always 1 gram of gold is incorrect because, for example, historically, gold was only used for decoration. It was specifically a rare thing that was used to display wealth. Now we can use it in circuitry, and it's actually a lot more. It's necessary for a lot of electronics.
It doesn't really take away from what I is saying, though, in terms of like value for value, point for point. It's not measurable, is what I means, and is the general point of it. Yeah.
Okay, I'll take it. You're right. It is kind of derailing the point. You're correct.
Yeah, no worries. But like it's
gold is always equal to 1 gram of gold.
Yeah.
Now, depending on the time, 1 gram of gold may be equal to 2 grams of silver, or it may be equal to 50 grams of silver. But those are completely different things.
Yeah, you're right.
Humans are always going to be humans, therefore, 1 gram of gold to 1 gram of gold, right?
So I think I just connected where my brain is connecting this, because one of my, and I haven't really like seen much research or like much academics on this. So this is just me having a theory that's been standing for a while, is that human, and this also goes on to my same issue, I guess, with the idea of, are we born good or evil? And my answer is not neither, but both. And that humans specifically have a spread of predispositions that we have, that overall having that
thank you
diversity.
Go on.
that diversity in our collective behavior has allowed us to be adaptable to different situations as different societies over time. So an example of this would be people who are predisposed to violence in our current society, not particularly a useful fit for what we need. However, you go back into times of unrest or invasion or lack of resources and you needing to invade other areas to get things, that
looking at you, Vikings.
That particular, yeah, basically, that particular predisposition towards violence becomes beneficial to everyone to have that. Same thing with if you have people who think a lot, they're the inventors, whatever. If you don't have the resources to be inventive, having too many people without the ability to do manual labor without going insane is going to be actively detrimental to the group. So, but you always need some combination of that for when things change. So it's a little bit more. It's more of a epigenetic take on the whole situation.
One of the things you're looking at, right, when you state that, is, do you know why there aren't as many swords from the medieval ages as you'd expect there to be? A lot of people will give you the answer of, oh, well, iron rusts and iron breaks down, and that is correct, but there still should be more, given what we know of the time period and the size of battles. There should be more than we've been able to find. The reason why there isn't is because swords were only useful when swords were useful, right? So when they stopped being useful, well, okay, we throw this iron on the ground and get rid of it. We throw it in the trash, or instead of going through the effort of having to go mine more iron ore, we take all these swords that aren't really useful anymore, and we melt them down and we turn them into, nails for houses and boats. We turn them into anchors. We turn them into, guns and all these things that are now more useful for the time that they're in.
Straight up, exactly.
Good soup.
Good soup.
I made that statement while walking across a 2x4 over a 12-foot gap that's 10 foot deep.
Don't hurt yourself.
I love my job.
Stay safe. That's all I ask.
Yeah. Well, I gotta get across the lazy river again, and I'm not getting back in it. I spent 2 hours in this thing today. I'm not doing it again.
For context, I know that sounds like a dream to some members in chat. It wasn't.
I got kicked 15 times. Twice of which was in the head.
What the fuck?
Bebe is an engineer and had to do a replacement.
I had to fix a light bulb in a hole full of people.
Oh joy.
You did a hot fix.
Like you were underwater doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your current record for holding your breath, Bebe?
My what can I do currently, or what's the highest I've ever gotten to?
What can you do currently? Because they actually use IDE as training for the new lifeguards.
Currently, last time I helped the lifeguards out with training, my current timer was 4.5 minutes.
Damn.
Not bad. It's not bad.
Before that, I used to be able to go like closer to 6, but you have to remember, I've been smoking cigarettes, and I haven't been free diving as much as I used to. I used to free dive probably every weekend when I lived closer to the beach.
But I will say this: you've been smoking cigs for as long as we've been together, and longer, and you can still hold 4.5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's because when people ask me, it's like, how can you do that as a smoker? It's like, dude, because my lungs are used to not having as much air in them as they should.
Just doing their best.
I mean, that's kind of valid.
That tracks. Now I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna fish in this openly hostile area.
Don't,
Hugh,
sir.
Pull with me and hold your breath for 4 minutes.
I can't do that.
No.
I'm not even gonna pretend.
No.
I think at my height that was 2 minutes.
About a minute for
Hell
me.
yeah.
I'd
2
probably
minutes
say a
is
minute.
super respect.
It is, you crazy, crazy son of a bitch. Oh my God.
But again, dude, you gotta think, I'm actually trained to be a free diver.
Yeah,
So-
no.
I still think it's
not
cool.
like I just woke up one day and went out and could hold my breath for 4 minutes. Like, no, this is literally a lifetime of learning how to slow my fucking heart rate.
That's one of the problems that I have with people who are like, oh yeah, human evolution's at work in the Philippines and stuff like that. And I'm like, or they're taught from a young age how to do this, and it, with practice during development, has a physiological change.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so microevolution is also a thing, right?
Oh, fuck you!
Oh yeah, of course.
You
Uh-oh.
alright there?
This...
You got ganked?
No, this level 30 satyr, which is all in red text, because it's that much higher level than me. Frickin'... I finally got him down to like a scratch of his health, and then he used a spell, a very long casting spell that I can't interrupt because I'm a warlock, that healed him to full.
Oh, fucking rude.
Damn.
It must suck not being able to have an interrupt.
Mm-hmm.
Look. I'm also working on it. I swear.
Fucking bitch.
I'm
Not
easy
you,
bitch.
the satyr.
I know. I'm
I
just
thought
being
he
a
was
shit.
talking about me because I gave him shit for not having an interrupt.
Oh no, like I'm not a mage. Fuck I look like.
You know what class? You know what class has an interrupt?
Magic man.
Fucking
What class has an interrupt? Q. Paladins.
All right. You want to do this? Okay, fine. When you get home and after you've had adequate rest, let's hop on. Let's grind those levels.
That's
Come on.
fine. I just need
All right.
some fucking sleep, okay?
No, you know I'm gonna take care of you, baby. You know it's about you this weekend. I'm just being a shit.
I've not had nearly. I got home at 10 o'clock. I got called at 1 o'clock to come into work at 4.
Oofa.
Yeah. But the upside is now the weekend begins a lot sooner.
Silver linings.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought Boss was just all of a sudden really mad about whatever microevolutions were.
What?
Yeah, me too. I was like, wow, something
It's like such an odd thing to get mad about. But okay, let's go.
No.
Let's follow this
If you
trail.
were going into people justifying eugenics, then I would start ranting.
Fair.
That's what I was
No,
afraid was
no,
going to happen when
no.
he said, "Whoa, fuck you!" Like, oh wait.
No,
a minute,
yeah,
what the
no,
fuck
no.
just
I'm
happened?
Oh,
no
shit.
context.
Exactly what popped in my
In
brain.
game, someone deserved it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No, microevolution is just that if humans are exposed to a situation long enough, we adapt to that situation.
Oh, that's the kind of microevolution you were talking
Yeah,
about.
no. If I thought that I was like touting eugenics, I would just be like, nope, stop.
No, I
Oh,
was
no,
talking
that's when
about.
you
I was thinking he was talking about genetic drift.
No. There's also, there's also the fact that, like, so with microevolution, right?
Mhm.
All right, you spend enough time around the water and in the water that your body slowly adapts to being able to do that, right?
Mhm.
And you meet someone who's also adapted that ability. You have a kid. That kid genetically is predisposed to create that ability.
Okay, there
I
is
see
some
where
debate on
Hugh
that
is
fact.
going with. Well, yes, but I see where Hugh is going with the. We're getting very close to eugenics because that is where people will eventually take that.
Talking about genetics is a very slippery slope, and if people aren't aware of the dangers of eugenics, which, by the way, before anybody fucking says it and doesn't know any better, no, the Nazis didn't ruin it. It is inherently a terrible thing.
Correct.
Like, they did not make it worse. They just became evident of why it's so fucking bad.
Now, I will say something because I'm heavily involved in the scientific community that's going to sound really bad, but I want you to bear with me, right?
Okay.
Oh boy.
There is this idea in the scientific community of finding people, say people who have shown that they are genetically resistant to certain forms of cancer, right? And you gather all these people up and you take their DNA, and in a lab, you find out what in their DNA makes them resistant to cancer. And you try and synthesize that version of the genetic code to then artificially introduce it to someone who lacks that code.
That is fine. Because it does not promote genocide. That's a big one. I'm sad that we have to like preface that.
Oh my god, right?
Yeah.
If it involves picking and choosing people, like picking, choosing, and breeding people specifically based on their genetics, that is where we're crossing a line.
What you're talking about specifically is gene therapy.
Yes, that's gene therapy.
Correct.
That is less ethically bad. You need to be careful
But
with
could
it.
still take a bad turn.
It can still take a bad turn, but that by itself on paper, not bad. Newsflash, genocide is bad.
Yeah.
Today I learned.
A lot of people don't realize it, but that situation I just described, that's literally how you make vaccines.
Yeah.
You find someone who has had the illness and has created the antibodies to fight off said illness. You harvest those antibodies. You give them a medium in which to propagate and make more of themselves in, and then you artificially introduce those antibodies into someone else.
Actually, I don't.
Congratulations, you just learned what vaccines are.
So gentle, just for
Actually, I'm not-
clarification, that is some vaccines. Other vaccines are done.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Others are done with the Ida's right. However, depending on the nature of the virus or bacterium, there's also the practice of introducing neutered variants of the virus or bacterium that is causing the illness. There is also vaccines that do neither. And by the way, that is specifically neutered variants. So no, they're not actively putting the virus in you and it's able to propagate in you. You're introducing it in a form where it cannot reproduce, but it's a safe thing for your antibodies to be like, that's a bad. So when a variant of the virus is introduced to your body, in real time, that can propagate, your antibodies will know immediately, oh, we remember you. The last ones didn't reproduce, but we're not taking that chance.
My
Yeah.
favorite analogy for that
Literally
is
what
the Death
most-
Star.
What,
And what it is
most
the
shots are.
you
Oh,
introduce
sorry,
a Death Star to the system that basically says, "Hey, this thing is gathering energy to basically make you sick, whatever."
Right.
And what you it takes a couple tries, but then you're able to deal with it. The next time you see a partly completed Death Star, you send everything you've got at it from the get-go.
Yeah. I like that. It's pretty fucking accurate.
Mm-hmm. And also, the reason why you feel sick after a flu shot is not because it gave you the flu. What makes you feel sick is not actually the flu itself. It is the symptoms of your body fighting it off.
Mm-hmm.
And so when your body kicks itself into high gear to have an immune response to the vaccine, which is how it learns what that it is the bad virus and cements it into its memory, that's why you feel sick.
Yep. Because fun fact, the flu does not give you the fever.
Mm-hmm.
The fever is your body raising its internal temperature in order to kill the flu virus.
Correct.
That's
Because
why
the
people
flu actually is trying to make you colder because it propagates better when your body temperature is lower. Which is why dogs don't really get the flu because their internal body temperature is so warm.
Well, yes, but there's also there is canine influenza and such like that. However, it does.
There is canine influenza.
It's
but,
its own thing.
That's not human influenza.
Well, but you're also talking about zoonotic diseases, which becomes its own gray area. But it is a similar thing. Animals that tend to, not entirely, be in more demanding environments tend to have higher body temperatures to ward off illness. Absolutely. Love the science.
Spray paint. Woo!
Woo!
My brain is going fuzzy from all the spray paint.
Yeah.
That's the best time to talk science and philosophy. And for anyone who's feeling lost or you're like, I don't belong here, because I know Bardic. I wanted to call out Bardic earlier, and then
How dare? What the fuck? I'm just sitting here.
Because you said I'm too stupid for this conversation, and you are wrong.
Oh,
You are not.
Bardic said that, huh?
Oh.
I just
Man, the
didn't
child
know.
just said shit that we don't let the child say.
No, let me
Really?
say the bad thing.
No.
I want to say a swear.
No. I know you want to say a swear, but since you said that, I'm not going to let you say the swear.
Well, let me say fuck.
Oh, damn it!
I don't wanna. And also, allow me to give you the context.
Oh.
These folks are talking about psychology, and I know at the moment I am stupid and unstudied.
No,
so
you're
I
not stupid.
cannot.
Unstudied.
You
Leave
are
it at
unstudied.
unstudied, you little fucking shit. I will fucking end you.
Because if you were to study
God.
about it, or even just hearing this conversation, you're understanding what we're saying, you're learning, you're getting exposure and context.
I mean, I'm fucking trying.
You're succeeding
I'm trying to.
by being here. You little shit.
You're feeling great, sweetie.
Uh,
Oh no,
Bardic.
compliments. I'm allergic.
I'm gonna cry.
You're not dumb, you just don't have that experience yet.
How many times have we had that conversation?
We don't gotta talk about it. No,
We don't gotta talk about it. We're gonna
Nah,
we're gonna
Bruno,
stop bringing it up.
We about to be gaslighting Bruno.
No, don't gaslight me, bro.
Hey, give me just reached level 24.
Why?
Hey.
I give.
Also, hello Val.
Go give me.
Bardic.
Yes.
I am home.
Hello.
Hey, welcome home.
My name was used.
Even though
when I
you
was
don't
summoned.
consider the Dark Carnival your home.
Methinks the envy protests too
I
much.
didn't say that. I said I'm not a darkling. There's a difference. Home is where the heart is. And I've got several hearts that I bury in different locations everywhere.
Mm-hmm. You
This is
fucking
true.
lich.
You're a Time Lord?
No, a lich.
Kind of.
They are Chronomancer.
I mean,
That's true.
really, what's the
Chronomancy,
difference?
Time Lord, wibbly wobbly bullshit. That's all I do.
That's fair.
You do more than that.
Spoilers.
No, that's the time lady.
Hit. Ooh.
Yeah, Bardic.
So
What I was saying was, you and I are in the same boat. Neither of us are as educated as the rest of these fucks on these topics. So they're just us vibing and living because of their word vomit.
Wish I'm a high school dropout.
And that has to do with
Oh,
intelligence. How?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bardic, I'm sure if we had a conversation about sharks, you would beat all of us.
I'm sure if we had a conversation about literature.
I mean, I'm not
Hey, Bardic.
smart.
Choir.
What are the
know-
ampullae of Lorenzini?
Say that again.
Do you know what the ampullae of Lorenzini? Or Lorenzi, depending.
No,
No?
I don't know things.
Mel,
They are
Muhai, aka Mel. What are you? Where'd you get your bachelor's again? What was your dissertation
Who's
about?
going for their masters?
No, not master's. PhD.
That's right. I forgot.
Listen. Soon to be Dr. Mel.
Uh-huh.
Okay, this is actually a
Why is
perfect.
everybody violating Rule 1 of the Dark
I
Carnival
know, right? Like you fucking
know.
cucks.
But this is actually
I love how you expect.
this is a great time for me to go on a rant about why our measure of intelligence and what is smart and what is not is stupid. Because if somebody is really good at cooking and they can taste something, pick up exactly how to make it and replicate it, that is a type of genius. But
It
is
is,
not considered.
But the problem is that when you're looking at terms of getting a job, you are taking in, as the hiring manager, a certain level of risk. So while a person can have a ton of practical experience and be like a savant, if there's nothing that would back up some knowable factors, like, say, an education at a culinary institute, you can't justify the risk in hiring that person.
That doesn't. That is true, but that does not.
That is my
that is not an impact of intelligence and our measure of intelligence.
Yeah, but I see what Digga is saying, right? When it comes to from the
totally.
professional end of things. However, when it comes to self-worth levels of intelligence and what is valid within a social setting and system outside of professional credentials, which as unfortunate as it is necessary because you don't want to hire an engineer who it just is smart enough to know but actually doesn't know any of that information yet, right?
And they're with mechanics.
And for context, for me, I come from a field that requires certifications like every 3 months. So and it's unfortunate because I see some people coming in and they have just these beautiful repositories that are but because they don't have $100 to take a certification exam, they can't prove it.
Right. So they're incredibly intelligent, but our system is failing them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For the record, my dog agreed you are all smart.
And
Can't argue with my dog.
Mariaja. Knowing about Beethoven is a great value. Your ability to sing is a fucking amazing value that very few people can do, and is a talent honed over lots of hard work, but also has a specific part of the brain that needs to be well trained for it. It is a type of genius.
How many categories of intelligence are there actually?
Depends on who you ask.
No. We're talking about the categories. We're not talking about the
I'll look it
academic
up.
shit. There are categories.
Isn't there like 15?
Yeah, there's a I think a almost like either just over or just under the double digits, and only one of them is academic.
Interpersonal intelligence, existential intelligence, interpersonal communication, musical intelligence, natural intelligence, intrapersonal, naturalistic, general intelligence, spatial intelligence, musical, spatial, and multiple intelligences are what's listed on
Thank
Google.
you.
That was about 10.
Oh, it's the Howard Gardner's theory.
Wait, it did bring up kinetic intelligence, correct? That should be on there as well.
That one did,
it
but
is.
it's okay.
But one
Sorry,
of
I
the things
clicked out
that
of it
even with
'cause-
that, I will hold the gripe on again is cooking intelligence. Sensory intelligence is not usually considered into any of those categories.
Yeah, but those are also valid intelligences. Like
Absolutely.
like knowing shit. Oh, thank you for the medium armor kits, by the way. It is, and this is a very intentional choice of words here. It is invalid for one to say they are unintelligent, because there are so many different measurements for intelligence that are scientifically accepted and socially accepted that I'm telling you right now you are wrong.
You can't.
I'm going to add to this.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm going to add to this. Don't ever let someone's IQ be a sign of intelligence.
IQ doesn't fucking work. It's archaic. It's invalid. It does not apply, especially given the bias of its creation. It does not account for cultural differences.
I got so pissed about it the other day.
There are
The algorithm.
that
Yeah,
have
sorry, go ahead.
quote unquote really high IQs, but you wonder how they tie their shoes.
Well, also, like most people who do take quote unquote IQ tests aren't even taking the archaic validated ones, and I put validated in quotes there. They're taking online IQ tests that are like, here's basic math. Oh, you're so smart.
Yes and no. Yes and no. And the reason why I say that is because the problem is that the IQ tests that we have that are taken at a higher level, and I'm talking about the ones that are taken and pushed by Fortune 500 companies, they're limited. They have a very set look at what they consider to be intelligent. This is still written by humans, and it's done based purely on that. I also want to push this out there in case anybody's sitting there looking back thinking, I don't have anything academic. Personality hires are literally a lifesaver, and that's a social skill, and that's learning how to read people and how to look at a problem in a situation and solve it when everybody else is frozen to. So social skills and social intelligence very much plays into the game.
Yep.
So just because it's not in a book doesn't mean that it doesn't count.
Yeah. If you are good
how do you
at
think
it,
things
it
get
is
put in
a
books?
form of intelligence. That is how it works for us as sapient beings. What's up?
There is a test that is similar to an IQ test. It is a basically what it measures is it doesn't measure how intelligent you are. It measures how quickly you learn and retain new information.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you're smarter. It just means that you pick up a certain set of data a very small set of data, mind you, faster than somebody else. If you change the topic of that, so like for me, if that set of data was relevant to my special interests, i.e., space and engineering, yeah, I'm gonna learn it faster than if you gave Hugh the same test. Conversely, if you gave Hugh a test based on how fast you learn shit about psychology and gave me that test, I guarantee you Hugh's going to be faster than me. That doesn't mean I'm dumb and he's smart, or I'm smart and he's dumb. That just means we learn different skill sets at different rates.
It's like me going into folklore. It's not the bread and butter, but people don't realize. People hear folklore and they think myths and fairy tales. They don't realize that this is literally studying how people move and they groove, and they're hired on to things like political cabinets. And it's just
cultural studies.
Oh, and
now granted, I'm totally using it for the myths and fairy tales, but
and,
still.
Anybody who says that they're dumb, you are making that assessment based on a very limited scope that someone who isn't you forced on you. That is the bare bones of it as well. That is why I will fight you. You, parentheses, general, I will fight you.
Yeah, Bardic, you really can't say squat. I know where you live. I can get there in 5 minutes.
No.
Hey y'all, this is real talk. Just need y'all to understand, you are smarter. Everyone in this chat, voice chat and text chat, Twitch and here, are smarter than Carl Friedrich Gauss, who is a genius of the 19th century. A literal genius. You are more intelligent than him because you have more knowledge, more information to work with. So don't let anything limit your scope, because you can always learn.
And the scope that lets us believe that we are dumb is arbitrary, and you did not think of it. Think about that.
So
you're gonna let that cuck tell you what, like, how you're meant to be intelligent? No, fuck them. Don't actually fuck them, but fuck them.
Yeah, leave that to the professionals. I'll fuck them for you.
And I'll stand there with the boom mic. Supportive partner.
Wait, are we fucking the cucks or cucking the fucks? I don't even know anymore.
It's okay.
That second one.
Count me in.
Because by definition, we can't fuck the cucks. They don't want to be fucked. They want to get cucked.
Now we're assuming that the fucking is physical.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were we talking literal? I was being metaphorical.
I was more looking at the psychological.
Especially when dealing with me when I'm angry. What?
Start reading SCP documents that just break the brain.
Dang, come on.
And Mariaja and Mel, stop violating Rule 1 of the Dark Carnival.
Yeah.
No, seriously. Y'all know better.
Yep.
And
Don't
you
talk shit
know
on
that
yourself.
you have strengths.
Oh yeah. For those in chat who are wondering what Rule 1 in the Dark Carnival is, can I have somebody read me verbatim what Rule 1 is before I go on a very quick bio break?
I'm going to volunteer as for that one.
Okay,
I already have it pulled up.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I know.
Go ahead,
volunteer him anyway.
Rule 1 of the Dark Carnival: respect all staff members. Do not insult or disrespect a staff member or any decisions they make.
We poke a lot at each other, so.
I thought Rule 1 was no self-deprecating in front of the ringmaster.
Okay, so
it should have
been.
I thought Rule 1 was no self-deprecating at all.
Yeah.
We did renew the rules,
we
so
did.
it might not be number 1 anymore.
It might not be number 1 anymore. Oh, but
it's still number 1. Spiritual.
It is still spiritual.
And honestly, anyone who's been in the carnival for longer than 5 seconds knows that this carnival will fight itself, tripping over itself to correct your viewpoint.
There are Darklings who will immediately.
We don't self-deprecate in front of the ringmaster.
There are still Darklings who will have Vietnam flashbacks when someone else in a VC self-deprecates in my presence because they can feel my glare.
Listen, folks, I will fight myself to fight you.
I actually told my therapist the other day about the beautiful thing that we tend to do at in the Dark Carnival Discord, where when you're talking and you say something bad about yourself and you're like, "Oh, I'm stupid" or whatever, somebody else will pop in and go, "What did you say about my friend?"
Mm-hmm. Now that being said, real quick though, I do need to go on a quick bio break because I am on a time crunch.
Bio break.
But yeah, when we come back, we'll continue this conversation.
Do it.
Hello, everybody.
Boy.
And no,
Who's giving Hugh an
we're
echo?
not doing only hats. Only hats is not a thing.
That's a different
That is
website.
a whole different
Aw.
website.
Hugh, I will fund this.
No. No.
I will
Please,
fund.
please let us throw money at you.
Hold up. Let me finish. I will fund Hugh to get a professional photo shoot of tasteful nudes with the top hat covering the bits.
I just want tasteful nudes of the hat.
I was gonna say
Cecil
there
had
is an
photos?
OnlyFans account for just a hearse, so we could do it for just the hat.
I need that 16-month calendar.
That's
Man,
awful.
y'all are needy.
Look,
Hey,
You notice how Hugh
look.
didn't turn down? Hugh didn't turn down the money for the tasteful nude calendar.
He's got bills and he's not proud.
Exactly.
It's his
And he knows I'm
brand.
doing
No.
it too.
give me
Look.
that hat.
I'm just saying, Hugh, I know plenty of Twitch streamers who just stand in front of their webcam while completely topless but not showing anything. Do that with just a hat. Do that with just your hat on.
It's
Listen,
just
no
like
one needs
the
to know.
head and then like
Listen,
a bit of forehead.
if I
Forehead
was
and hat
able
only.
to be comfortable with even tasteful nudes, I would be a much wealthier man.
God, the amount of people that would buy your tasteful nudes, yeah.
Like, it is
Even
not a
I
matter-
subscribe to the only hats.
It is genuinely not a matter of do I think it can be successful. The answer is a resounding yes. I am, to a sizable enough demographic, a conventionally attractive person. However, my comfortability does not extend to that, alas.
Quick question. Is that consent to gas you up?
No.
Okay. See, had to ask.
Gas me up to
Communication.
make such a thing? No. Gas me up to agreeing that I'm a conventionally attractive person? Sure. But yeah, no, I am of the current mindset that I am not comfortable putting myself in a forum in that form for a population, whether subscription based or not. And that is purely on me. I also believe sex work is real work, right? Like, to understand where I'm at in the general scope, but for me specifically, that's a hard pass. You were saying, Digga?
I just want to point this out because at this point we've known each other, what, 2 years? I am so fucking proud of you.
For what?
Because I remember when that statement would have been hell.
Yeah. It has been 3 years, so that's a...
I was just thinking the same thing.
I am so fucking proud of you.
Oh, thanks.
Sweet bee moment.
Yeah. Well, like, and a lot of that does have to do with, like, I did not... Okay, so I'm not gonna say that I wasn't always, like, I am not... This is a double negative, which is why I'm trying to phrase it correctly, because friggin' brain. It's not that there was ever a point where I wasn't unconventionally attractive. There was a point in my life where, like, I was clearly and visibly unhealthy. Because even my partner's mom has gone on record to being, from seeing seeing pictures of me from when I was in high school, where I was 50 pounds heavier, noticeably 50 pounds heavier. You can really see it in my face in those pictures. Saying, and I quote, "How did you get a man who looks good, chubby, and skinny?" Is how my partner's mom phrased it. And so it's not that I was unattractive. Although I will argue back in those days, I was not yet conventionally attractive by the same by a sizable enough demographic that would that is related to modern day. Because as the years have gone on TikTok, I have seen more and more logical evidence to the contrary. Looking at my partner, for example, who, yeah, they don't go, like, they have made it a point that they don't go by appearances, that they are more attracted to the personality than the person. Asterix, they are very physically attracted to me. And not, like, that's also, like, on, like, the end of, like, they find me physically attractive as well. Like, to a ridiculous degree, and vice versa, on my end, of course. But yeah, but also having that essentially ugly duckling mentality growing up had made it incredibly hard, and which is why I think I might, hypothetically, have some level of dysmorphia, because while I can logically acknowledge, like I did a moment ago, that I am conventionally attractive more than I'm not, which is an upgrade from me saying that I am somebody's cup of tea, which was my previous statement on the matter, where you either just, I'm not your type, or I'm really your type, but it's so askewed in one direction that I can't even I can't accurately say that anymore without feeling like it's disingenuous to the evidence of the matter. But emotionally, on an irrational level, I still do not see what other people see. I am not my type, is what I have come to the conclusion of.
A important thing to note here is a statement that has been said quite a bit is, just because you are not your type does not mean you are not someone else's type.
Exactly.
And that is an important thing to remember.
But, yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah, and
actually, can I recommend a slightly better way of phrasing that?
Yeah.
Just because you're not your type does not mean you're not hot.
Yeah. That's actually a fair way to phrase it.
Because like because saying oh, it means you're someone else's type can imply that, oh, this person is weird and only into the weirdness that is me. No, you're fucking hot. This applies to not just one person. This applies to everyone.
There is,
like it or not, you're hot.
And back to the dysmorphia thing, and what, like, the primary reason why I think I might fall into that bracket, into that spectrum of dysmorphia. And again, this is all purely conjecture, hypothetical. I do not have a formal diagnosis. Do not take this as gospel. And I am,
you don't need one.
I'm also not self-diagnosing. However, I have noticed that my physical appearance, physically, visually, appears to be different than what other people see. For example, my weight is like the first one that comes to mind. It's not the only example, but it is the first one that comes to mind. I am skinnier, objectively, than I think I am at any given time, for example. Whereas that is not an indicator of what is hot and what is not, by any stretch of the imagination. For my perception of my physical attractiveness, it apparently has weight. And I've noticed that where when I think I'm like chubby, other people have pointed out, present day, dude, no, you're fucking thin. You're super fucking thin. What do you mean? And I'm sitting there with that dissonance, realizing that, yeah, like there's a very strong likelihood that my perception is warped due to either trauma or some other, mental health issue.
Well, okay, so that's another important thing to remember, Hugh, is as a psychologist, you should be acutely aware of this, but I'm reiterating it for the people that haven't studied psychology, right? So there's this thing that your brain does. A really easy way to test it is to say something into a microphone, record it, and play it back. You hear your voice, and it sounds really weird to you, right?
Yeah, it does.
I hate my voice.
A lot of people will immediately go, oh, it's because you're hearing it from an external source and not reverberating up through your own throat and into your ears. And that is partially correct. But something the human brain does that's really freaking cool and is also potentially problematic for some people is the human brain filters what you see and what you hear to what it expects it should see and should hear. So some people that are like, oh, my voice isn't that deep, it's because their voice shifted so deep during puberty that their brain went, whoa, hold up. And so now every time they hear their voice, they're hearing it filtered through what their brain expects to hear and what it actually hears. Same thing with your face and your physical appearance. Your brain remembers the first time it saw you and the first time it heard you. And as you grow and as that changes, especially during puberty, because during puberty you change so rapidly, the human brain actually can't keep up. So it creates these filters to overlay. That's why, like, you can look at pictures of yourself when you're younger and go, yeah, that doesn't look, I haven't changed that much. But someone that didn't know you when you were younger looks at a young picture of you and doesn't realize it's you because you've changed that much. This is a really cool thing. Find a friend who doesn't know what you look like as a kid, show them a picture of you now, show them a picture of you as a kid in a group, and see if they can pick you out. A lot of people won't be able to do it.
So what you're telling me is that this lumpy, salty, bacon-like protrusion inside of my skull is fucked up.
Yes.
No.
You can't trust the electrocuted meat to judge itself accurately.
Correct.
That's what I meant. Yes.
Because your brain operates only on as much data as it's given. Your brain is also inherently biased.
Secondly,
it wants to find patterns in data that it knows. It wants to. The human brain. This is what pareidolia is. Pareidolia is looking at shadows and seeing a person standing in the corner, or looking at the clouds and seeing Pikachu and not just clouds. It is creating a pattern where there isn't one. Your brain loves doing that. That's why humans are such good problem solvers, is because we can figure out patterns where there aren't patterns. This also gets humans into a lot of trouble because we try to explain things that can't be explained, because by nature we need to have patterns, we need to have a reason, when the reason is there is no reason.
And then we invented purple to go on top of that.
And brown.
I love that.
And brown.
Brown,
But
orange.
you, to your previous statement on dysmorphia, man, like, I do not find myself physically attractive unless I am in garb. Like, I look at the photos of me as Valerix from Drachenfest, and I'm like, that's hot. And then I look at a photo of me on a regular day, and I'm like, that ain't it, Chief. And it's like almost the exact same composition of photo, but it's just, that's ugly.
And the same thing happens with your voice.
Probably because you take that extra pride in all the work you put in to look like that.
Both yes and no. There is a part of, and I want to add on to what I was saying about our self-identification and how we end up with our mental schema of who we are. Most people tend to take pieces of what they see around them and correlate them into, I want to integrate them into what my personality is. That is part of the developmental cycle of building your own personality. What fits for me, but you also correlate that on what you see physically and what you hear. So if you don't think that so mentally you think that you should look a certain way, and you think you should sound a certain way, and if you don't, there is a dysresonance. Where if you've ever looked in the mirror and been like, that's me, like that can be a thing. But having an preconceived notion of what you sound like in your mind, your brain's going to hear that. So when it's different from what you hear on a recording, it's going to throw you for a loop.
It really is.
But that comes down into, for example, the cosplay aspect, where you are picking and choosing things that you have access to, but usually that you've seen on a character that you identify with, that you like, that you want to be more like with. And when you bring that onto yourself and make it your own, you feel more self-actualized.
Yep. There is, I cannot remember the name of it. One of my more literature active friends, please assist me if you can. There's a famous story where this gentleman is a brilliant scientist, right? And he goes through a tragedy where his wife dies. So he creates this artificial version of his wife. And he ends up hating it. You know why he ends up hating it? Because it's too perfect. Because his mind had a filter of what she is, but it was incomplete. Because you can't judge yourself or others based on just your view, just your opinion. Because again, your mind is biased. So if it's someone you love, you're going to insinuate, if you try to recreate them, you're going to insinuate their positive traits. You're not going to see as many of the flaws, quote unquote, air quotes, flaws, right? So you're not going to include those.
Those bits that make them them.
Exactly. And human beings need flaws, right? Innately, we're all flawed, and that's what makes us who and what we are. You can't exist without both. Because if you were all flaws, then you would be awful, right? If you were all your perfections and no flaws, then you would hit this realm of uncanny valley of, yes, that's the person, but it's not. There's something off. And you lose, you created a facsimile of the person and you mastered their personality, but the little things, the way they twitch their eyebrow when they're angry, you wouldn't include that, but your brain would notice it when seeing it inactive on a facsimile.
There's also the unpredictability, because if you take even a perfect replica of someone, but you have done it by only their past actions, those moments that we surprise each other, no matter, I mean, I've been with my partner for over 20 years. They still shock me every now and then. And it's a reminder that there is no, like, I could have a carbon copy of them, but it's those things that I don't know about them that make them them and not just some figment of my imagination.
Because you'd miss all of the thoughts that they have that you don't see. You'd miss all the things that formed them into what they are that you weren't around for.
Also, Hugh, I'm gonna say this with the full intent of staying on topic.
Yes.
But I know you find yourself unattractive mostly when you look at yourself in the mirror. You've already said as such. But I know you find Hugh to be more, you're like, yeah, that's hot. I feel hot as Hugh or the Eldritch author. Really?
Yeah. Like
okay,
okay, so when I am in Hugh garb specifically, and I am RPing Hugh, this was actually a conversation earlier off stream, I believe. I find, it's not that I find Hugh more or less attractive. I feel more confident dressed as Hugh and in the throes of RPing as Hugh, in the sauce. That confidence gets emulated for me incredibly easily. To the point where, like, I actually, the concept of feeling attractive, kind of like how Hugh wouldn't even, like, begin to think in that way, is not even a thought. But I do feel genuinely confident and, like, you know, like, in the way that Hugh would. However,
I guess
enough,
attractive was the wrong phrase, but you're nailing exactly what I meant.
Yeah.
That confidence that like comes out, like, and let's to that end, everyone is more attractive when they're confident.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like, it does bring about another level, even if you're not like, I'm attracted to that. You are still presenting an aura of being more attractive than you normally would, because that confidence guides you into feeling good about yourself.
Yeah.
And God, is that euphoric.
I'll be this person and make the statement of subjective. Because yes, by and large, a good majority of people do find confidence attractive. But there are a good portion of people that find being demure more attractive than being confident.
Mm-hmm.
I am one of those people. Being confident is nice, yes, but I'm more attracted to someone who is demure than confident.
Fair enough. So yes, that is subjective. But that was I was leaning more towards the comments on potential dysphoria, because while he was not diagnosed nor self-diagnosing, that confidence that's part of dysphoria. Whether it's a full-on diagnosis or not, like everyone feels a little dysphoric once in a while.
Yeah.
Right. And I made the statement I made as a
Good statement.
reminder to the people who don't have an outlet that makes them feel confident the way Hugh does, is that confidence is not necessarily a need to be attractive. You don't need to be confident to be attractive. Some people prefer that balance to be more on the demure side than the confident side. Again, yes, a little bit of confidence, because you need a little bit of confidence to be functional. Just being blunt, like, you need some kind of confidence in some part of yourself to be functional. But overall, like, yeah.
Just I guess the long and short of it is, everyone here is valid and is seen, and we fucking love you. Even when it's hard to love yourself.
Freaking Bardic over here. Like,
And Aid, I'll back you up on it. So Hugh, I'm gonna call myself out on you a little bit. I don't like. Yeah, I find your characters like conventionally attractive. I find you conventionally attractive, absolutely. But when you, as young Hugh, are cowering and do the flinch thing, I'm like, must have, gimme.
That also ties into your and I'm only even mentioning this because you have gone on record to say this in public with with confidence that does come from your sadism, right?
Absolutely, but it also comes from a place of desire for protection, to protect something. But yeah, absolutely. Like, it's the I get like a cuteness aggression with it.
Yeah.
I want to squeeze it. I want to hold it. I want it to be mine. I want it to be safe, and I will keep it forever.
I get that.
Right.
There are also so many people who have that reaction seeing human Hugh with how timid and cowardly he is. And by the way, that's not like a knockdown of like a character who is like that. No, he was canonically craven. He would throw you under a bus if it meant saving his own skin. Like, it wasn't, oh, he's just shy. It's like, no, if he sees an opportunity to not get hurt and it involves hurting you, bet. There's just not really anything that's come up for me to like actively portray that in a video.
Nor do you have to. Like, it's not a major part of. Well, it might end up being. Who knows? But because if he regresses, maybe you will need to show that ahead of time. But
I will say it is not a planned concept to introduce to current Hugh. Because it would also like kind of defeat the whole why he became what he became.
Yeah.
Like, he became a patron not just to like remedy that part of himself, but all human parts of himself. And he also stopped being as craven before becoming a patron. It would defeat the character development. So So, you know, like as you were saying, like it's also not pertinent to emulate. It's I find it enough to simply state that this is lore, that this is canon, maybe even write how it was, is more than enough because of how far departed it is. It's an interesting lore fact, right? But it no longer carries weight. If anything, it enunciates the weight of how Hugh is now.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It shows just how much he's changed.
And how terrifying it is. Yeah, he had the evil
I will
minion
say-
mentality.
I will say I 100% agree with Gentle in that, like, the first time I saw human Hugh be all like scared and afraid and cowardly, two thoughts went into my head, and I'm not gonna tell you which order they went in, but one of them was, oh my god, that small precious brain must protect. The other one is, oh, I would fucking break you. I'll pull your goddamn back out.
Oh, look,
I
sadism.
would do unspeakable fucking things to you. You precious
Listen, we
little
we
man.
already have said like we have already gone on record to saying that you would do unspeakable things to a gay clone of me. Like that's just a fact.
No.
But
no, we've gone on record to say that if I ever develop cloning technology, you have to stay away from me, because if I get the DNA of Hugh to make a clone of him, I am going to find out how to make that clone gay, because I'm going to do unspeakable fucking things to that fucking
Master,
clone.
but make it gay.
What is the
Ada.
DNA
Rainbow
strand
filter.
for gay?
I think you're gonna appreciate this because it is the mentality of, I want you to be afraid of nothing but me.
Think it like that.
It's weird because it came out in Bebe's voice.
I will help you. If you learn how to do this, I will help you isolate the gay gene.
Y'all are freaks.
Yeah,
Damn
yeah, we are.
right.
Inject you with the gay gene.
Oh, that's fucking.
This will be our
hilarious.
contribution to society as the Dark Carnival.
This will be y'all magnum's opus to the world.
Oh my god.
Listen. Something time magic you. Don't fuck with me.
I just had a terrible thought.
Oh no.
If I figure out how to clone or make cyborgs of Hugh, I'm literally going to become fucking Mammon from Hell of a Boss.
Oh my god.
Oh
I'm just
god.
going to make
I
fucking
love you.
toys of Hugh.
My darling,
What?
I love you, but you're either gonna go Aussie or we're gonna have a long chat.
If I will make sex toys clones of Hugh. 2023.
Oh my god.
I'd
You understand how much money I would make?
I do, but I hate Mammon. So,
Well,
for
you're-
my
yeah,
self-preservation,
We would never have to work again. I could sell two of them.
see?
We'd be set for life.
look, you're gonna be either Giant Rooster Man or Bug.
Oh my
I prefer
God.
Giant Rooster for the obvious joke.
My favorite thing is that before this, like maybe 30 minutes ago, we were talking about how mentally ill we all are, and now we've gotten onto this.
Now we're just leaning into it. Although I will say, it is almost 4 hours into stream, and I'm about ready to call it for tonight. This has been a lovely hangout stream conversation time. Who we rating? Oh, let's
that's how you end the stream with threats to clone a gay Hugh.
and so
It's about right.
freaking we're actually going to be rating the Paladin, James George.
Yay!
Mutual of mine, one of the homies, and I do not know what the fucking game he's playing. Ex Anima.
If he's not wearing his helmet, I don't want to see it.
But yeah, we're he's not. But listen,
Damn
Leave your
him!
helmet on.
Listen, Val.
The helmet stays on during stream.
See him without his helmet, and then tell me you're
Oh,
gonna
I have.
complain.
He's a gorgeous
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Like straight up at the Bristol Ren Fair, the number of times, and I'll remind him to his face, the number of times I turned around after he said some shit, and I said, "Thank God you're pretty."
Also, if you guys want to know where the Paladin got his armor, I can tell you.
Oh.
It's a Wormwick suit made by Dragon Armory, my personal favorite weapon maker. They make polyurethane armor designs, and Wormwick, another UK-based polyurethane armor maker, will cast the molds for them, and the helmet and breastplate are both 100% Dragon Armory makes or designs. So like I love watching his videos because I see his videos. I'm like, I know where you got that.
All good, yeah, hell yeah. Friggin'
it's beautiful armor.
We're gonna send the raid out though. So like y'all have a lovely time. I will see y'all again on Tuesday. And yeah, if you're interested in that armor, look into it.
Bye, chat.
Bye, chat.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.